Launching a number of ballistic missile barrages against this country overnight. One of those missiles early this morning slammed into the heart of Tel Aviv. We just returned from this scene where first responders were removing debris and rubble. This was a direct impact, according to police, and there was a 220-pound warhead on top of the missile that caused the damage.
Fox's Trey Yingst also reports from Tel Aviv other Iranian missiles were shot down. President Trump says talks with Iran continue through his special envoy, so he's delayed his threat to attack Iran's power plants and energy infrastructure 5 days.
It could very well end up being a very good deal for everybody.
Well, Iran, though, as Fox's Jonathan Savage reports, is telling a different story.
One man rumored to be the key Iranian in talks with the United States insists no negotiations have taken place. Mohammed Bakr Kalibaf, the powerful speaker of Iran's parliament, says President Trump's announcement of productive conversations is just fake news to manipulate the markets.
And speaking of those, oil prices rising back up about 2% the morning after the big oil drops, and stock futures are down modestly. Homeland Security is getting a new leader.
Cheers on the Senate floor Monday night as the chamber voted to confirm Senator Markwayne Mullin's confirmation to be the next Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security in a 54-45 vote. The Senate vote comes amid an ongoing partial DHS shutdown as Democrats continue to withhold support for a funding package that does not include significant reforms to ICE.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin. There are ongoing talks in the Senate on ending that funding stalemate. This led to even longer security lines at airports. TSA agents working without pay more than a month. Some aren't showing up. Immigration agents have been deployed to airports to help. America's listening to Fox News.
Why does Progressive love protecting truckers? Because truckers unite the world. Truckers unite candles and yoga instructors. Truckers unite fake plants with people who shouldn't own living plants. Truckers unite French press coffee makers with the most pretentious person you know. But truckers can't do any of this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive now offers truckers even more protection on cargo with its enhanced Cargo Plus coverage. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. Not available in California.
Following the attacks on 9/11/01, FDNY firefighter Daniel Foley assisted in the rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. Daniel spent months and months searching for victims. Now, Daniel's death was the direct result of 9/11-related cancer. He leaves behind his wife, Carrie, and their children. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family's home. Join us. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Xtra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los on a Tuesday morning. That means Neal Boortz joins us about 90 minutes from now, roughly. Right in there, right in the ballpark.
Get ready.
It'll be.
We don't know where it's going.
Absolutely, we never know. And sometimes when it takes twists and turns that we don't see coming, that's when it's the best, Neal Boortz. So that'll be a little later this morning, but otherwise we've got a good 90 minutes before we get there. How are you, sir? You look so well rested, man.
Finally.
Did you do like some?
No. It's just interesting what happens when you get more than 2 hours of sleep.
No, right.
Went home, took a couple of naps.
A couple.
Got some stuff done. Huh. Got to bed early. Yeah, it's a good time.
Took a couple of naps.
The multi-nap day is an underrated day.
Dude, I'm telling you.
The first one wasn't really voluntary.
No, first one I just hit the pillow.
It was more like, hey, I'm going to... Body shut down.
Yeah, it happens, man.
Knocked out my work with Chuck and Chernoff, the show down the hall. Went right back to sleep for about another 45 minutes.
Oh, I love it.
Headed up to the middle school.
So I took about a good 45 minutes, and then I hear the doorbell ring, and I'm like,
who?
Who's ringing the doorbell? Am I dreaming? Is this real? You know, and then my dog Cash starts barking. I'm like, yeah, it's definitely real.
Somebody's here.
So you get up and kind of get dressed and you stagger out to the front door like you've been, drinking all night because you're so sideways because you slept so hard in your the first party nap. And it turns out it's the pest control guy.
Oh, okay.
I'd forgotten. I don't ever remember. The email goes to Laura, and I'm sure at some point she forwarded it to me and said, hey, put this on the calendar. This is when they'll be here. I did not. So he came in, and you could just tell he was like, He didn't say, "Are you all right?" But he looked at me like, "Are you all right?"
So I've been rewatching The Sopranos during that dark period when I was in college and didn't have cable and missed. Like, I saw the first season.
Yeah.
Then I kind of skimmed through like second, third, fourth one. So I've been rewatching it. I'd like to imagine you as, I don't know if you've ever seen this, when Tony Soprano wanders to the end of his driveway every morning to go pick up his newspaper. Mm-hmm. We're talking like the typical, I guess the term wife beater we don't really use anymore. We do undershirt with a pair of boxers, and he's got just, kind of like a really disheveled bathrobe and a pair of slippers or no shoes on at all.
Yeah.
And so when you see him do that at 6 o'clock in the morning, not that big a deal. When it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, people make judgments.
That's right. What have you been doing? What kept you up all night? You've been doing the drinking.
Why are you walking out like this? All disheveled looking.
And your underbritches. Yeah. So, but I did. I guess I tried to lay back down and finish the nap, but it didn't work.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, no,
you made it back all refreshed,
mostly refreshed, but I didn't get multiples, and I wish I would have because.
It's gonna sound like a weird question. Do y'all's naps get like sweaty? Like if I sleep on the couch and take a nap, I feel like I wake up and sweat.
The answer is no. But Sunday night, I don't know why.
Just this past Sunday night,
I woke up I went to bed 1:30 in the morning.
Well, do you think it was because you said yesterday morning you were so paranoid about oversleeping?
I think there was a little bit of nerves knowing I was only going to sleep for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
But no, not the naps, never.
Yeah, no, I don't struggle with the sweaty nap.
No, like every nap I have, I just
sweaty nap. Just gross Bryce.
Seriously, just
I don't know what he's involved in, but
he's just stewing in his own sauces.
He's getting rid of all the sin that's in his body.
Goodness, evacuate sin now.
Just sweats it out. Who knows? Maybe you're dealing with a certain amount of. I know this is kind of psychotherapy, and I'm just saying maybe you're dealing with a certain amount of anxiety that by the time you're done with your workday and you're having a nap, you're sweating out some of the things that have been challenging you.
Yeah, well,
maybe.
Like, what's been bothering you, buddy?
Nothing. Just living.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No, not yet.
Not yet. I was thinking because sometimes you work too much, the girlfriend gets on your case a little bit, or vice versa. If it's
it's very difficult to establish a relationship with this schedule.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But once you get into that rhythm, then you'll kind of figure it out. Like, my wife knows the idea of us like watching a show at night.
Not gonna happen. Same here.
Movies, that's a difficult one.
Yeah, it didn't really work.
But then the weekends are different. Like by Friday, okay, now everything's on the table.
The weekend is different, man. You've been traveling for the last 3 weeks.
You're right.
A month. There's been no weekend movie.
I do want to go. I want to take the kids to a movie.
Yeah, at some point.
There's no chance yet.
Yeah, dude, and probably won't be for the next. Because this weekend you're not traveling, but you're here, still downtown.
The younger girls are going to be over at the Georgia World Congress Center the following weekend. The older girls, so it's got to figure out a different time.
Yeah, because ours is the same way. I think Laura would love to watch shows. She would love to have that little couple's time, and it just doesn't do it.
You just tell her, I don't have time for you,
ma'am. Get out of here.
That.
I ain't got time.
Cuddle with the vacuum.
Yeah. You cuddle like Rosie around town.
Yeah.
You're either here when it's time for Jeopardy, or you're not.
Dang it. Tim Duncan was an answer. I got to figure out what the clue was. I always DVR Jeopardy so I can go back and watch it during the break.
And now I have to look it up.
And let Front Office Los know, because obviously he's a huge Spurs fan. That's the first thing I thought of when it was something, I feel like it was phonetic alphabet. It was something to do with the phonetic alphabet and sports, and I can't remember how they locked it all together. But that dude in the orange was the winner. The guy that you just scrolled past, that guy. Yeah, that dude's genius. And everything, I don't know, he's got some infatuation with orange. He wears orange every night, and Ken Jennings has pointed it out a few times. So his last name is Ding. Something Ding.
All right, I'm just curious because most of the time when it is a sports-related question, sports-related answer,
they don't get them right very often.
No response.
Yeah, most of them are just like... Nothing. They don't even flinch like they're going for the buzzer.
One of the best ones was Alex Trebek, and it was one of their visual clues.
Yeah.
And they were showing a stadium and talking about the Purple People Eaters.
Yeah.
and what team was known as that during the 1970s.
Right.
And he actually responds, if any one of you'll get this, I'll die.
Yeah, right. I know.
It's like the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, right. And there's been so many of those great, moments on Jeopardy where Alex at the time would call them out because be like, all right, well, this is not a category we should add back, just because they nothing, and sometimes, like I said, none of them even buzz in. They don't even try.
They don't have time for sports, and I get that. Your brain has only, in my opinion, so much capacity for so many things.
Right? No, and I understand that, but it's Trivial Pursuit. I mean, I would imagine sports would be the most trivial of the Trivial Pursuits. I mean, it doesn't change anybody's world.
I think if you want to be a Jeopardy champion, what you should spend the least amount of time on is sports.
Oh, and
that's what I would say. Now, it's different when there's like Celebrity Jeopardy, College Jeopardy. Those are a little bit more general. But regular, everyday Jeopardy, there are entire categories where I will just be staring at the board going, listen,
when it's
impressionist art,
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to have a problem with here.
Right.
French Impressionism, I'm going to have an issue here.
But there is something that I think whenever Los is not traveling for volleyball and I'm not traveling for baseball and Bryce is not calling a game, we should join. And I just saw it last night watching Jeopardy with Ken Jennings, who's less than. It is called the Jeopardy Bar League. They've launched their own thing, so you can play Jeopardy Bar League. I guess I just hit the JeopardyBarLeague.com because I saw it last night. Where to play, bring your bar, bring it to your bar, become a host, league leaderboards, and America's favorite quiz show is playing at your favorite local hangouts. I've always said, Laura, why? And then we're talking to my wife because we watch it all the time. I don't know why they don't do something so everybody can participate. And now they've taken my idea.
In my opinion, this might not be popular.
Oh.
I think this has giant fail written all over it.
What? Los, no. This is genius.
Because
it can't finish in 12 minutes.
Well, there's one.
There's that. Okay, that fair point.
But bar trivia, there's two. And keep in mind, I will point this out. It's been 20 years. But I used to, when I first got into Atlanta and started working radio, I had a small show 10 to noon. And so what did I have to do outside of that? Well, one of the things is I had to go work bar trivia. Get on the mic, host bar trivia. And the goal, first off, it's got to run for at least an hour. At least.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got to pick out the sort of music. You have to have this many rounds. It's got to run for an hour. It also can't be Jeopardy difficult.
Right, yeah. They've got to lighten it up a little
People
bit.
won't play.
It can't be impressionist art.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like if the answer isn't Ferris Bueller, you're going to have a problem.
What's the most famous line in Ferris Bueller's Day Out? Bueller, But I just saw it for Alpharetta and Roswell. Voodoo Brewing and Roswell has it, and Fetch Park, that's the dog park in Alpharetta, they have it too. So I'm thinking, wonder if we can get.
It's going to violate two of the rules, and then you're going to say Los was right.
Maybe
no
so.
No wonder this isn't working.
Maybe.
They asked about Monet.
Yeah, right.
Do we get buzzers?
I hope so. I mean, I want it to be legit, man.
Oh, man, I didn't know the answer was Matisse.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Dude, and that reminds me, though, even if this is a hashtag fail, right down the way, have y'all seen where they're opening up the game show store thing? Down like where it's in the old Threads, baseball, Braves Threads shop right next to Baseballism. And it is called basically game show. And you can go in there and you can play with your friends like Wheel of Fortune, something similar to, because all that stuff's copywritten, but the same premise anyway. Price is Right. I would assume there's probably a Jeopardy in there. If we can't do Jeopardy Bar League, then the three of us got to march down there one
Sign
day.
me up for some The Price is Right.
Dude, that'd be so fun.
What is the name right off the top?
Yeah.
Claude Monet.
Yeah.
French impressive. I paid attention in art history.
Right. And it was funny because Jacob, he was so reluctant. He had to take some sort to stay on track for his diploma in high school. He had to take some sort of AP art history or something like that. And he dreaded it. But at the end of it, he was like, I actually kind of liked it. He was like, teacher was exceptional. She was able to make it so interesting. And now if Monet comes up at Jeopardy, Bar Jeopardy, he's got a shot, dude. because he took AP art history.
Let this be a lesson to Bryce. It's like, is that man throwing out French impressionist artists? Like, yes, I am.
Yes.
If there's any level of entertainment to a documentary, I don't care what it is, I will watch it.
What is what's the zip code here? 30339, I think.
Yeah, 30339.
Let me see if I can find us anything close to here. Red Top Brew House in Ackworth, Mad Life, Woodstock, Voodoo, Roswell, Alpharetta. So there's a couple places
I'd
nearby.
give it a try. One time,
just to see, because I'm so addicted to Jeopardy.
But I'll call it out if it's failed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make a night out of it. Go to a hookah bar beforehand.
Oh. No, those things are terrible.
I like hookah. I think it's fun.
No, I don't mind other people. I just don't like the taste of the tobacco. It's like raspberry or something.
It's Tug.
Yeah.
Tug.
Okay, well, you guys smoke all the hookah you want. I'll sit there.
I was just,
Oh yeah. So if you've never been, maybe you might like it. Maybe you would like it. I went with my buddy Trey, who is a connoisseur of that kind of thing, and
it's driven largely by tradition, society. Like I have friends of mine where their family grew up hookah.
Yeah, sure.
And so they take part in it. And
my dad smoked just regular cigarettes.
Okay.
He did the hard stuff.
he had Winston Reds, man.
I was about to say, I was like, Camel?
No, Winston Reds there. Right?
You can tell a lot by people. When you hear about, hey, my grandfather smoked this. Yeah. My mom smoked that.
Lucky Strikes.
You have a pretty good Lucky Strike. Lucky Strikes largely came out of the war service in World War II. Lucky Strikes were one of the brands that the troops get the Lucky Strikes.
That's right. Come on, we're gonna give you something.
And he smokes with cigarettes.
That's right.
Cigarettes. I just love the way he says it. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It's about and I have the same issue. Like people get all bent out of shape over vapes and whatever, and it doesn't bother me at all. Whatever you want to do, go do it. I'm not saying it's good for you or you should. I'm just whatever.
Listen, we're big on personal freedom and personal accountability. You do what you want to do.
Thank you.
You still take care of your business.
That's right.
I got to hate on you.
But it's the same scent, odor, flavoring. When people exhale those and you kind of walk through the plume and it's that raspberry. But that's the exact way it is with the hookah bar for me. And I know there's differences. I'm not trying to say they're identical, but it's that same flavor, odor that I don't like, that I didn't like at the hookah bar too.
All right, quick note. During World War II with Lucky Strikes, soldiers would typically take one out, flip it over. And so if you survived whatever the operation was going to be, that was the first one you took out of the pack.
Love it. It was ready to go.
That was your Lucky Strike.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Dude, there's so many cool things about
a lot of traditional stuff.
Because I was about to say cool things about war, and that's not cool, obviously, but just the things that people that fight wars, those superstitions, all the things that go along with it, and there's plenty of them. Like there's no atheist in a foxhole. You know what I mean?
It's funny how that works.
Oh, absolutely. There's just so many things that, like I bet there's 1,000 more that we don't even know about, like the flipping over the Lucky Strike. I bet there's 1,000,000 more of those things we don't know about that have been happening since the revolution through now.
And that's, again, it's cultural. It's time and place because every different, whether you're global war terrorism or Vietnam or Korea, World War II, every group of people who went through that have their own proclivities and their own things they were doing. That Lucky Strike is just one of those that people brought back. Lucky Strikes.
And that I don't know that that's the most famous cigarette brand. I don't know that.
Oh, no, not at all. I think it was the cheapest and the easiest to get overseas from what I understand.
But I think now, looking back, it's the one that at least, like when I think of cigarettes and war and all, that's what I think of immediately. I don't think of Winston's or Marlboros, you know what I mean? Lucky Strike was always the thing that stood out, and that's the thing that people talked about. That's the thing that shows up in movies and pop culture.
If you're doing it accurately, Lucky Strikes.
Yeah, and then the Marlboro Man didn't come along until later, and then they put him on billboards and things, and he died of cancer, I believe.
Then Joe Camel started marketing it all to kids.
That's right.
And to young men, and Joe Camel had a very phallic appendage. He was always surrounded by beautiful women.
Yes.
It was very subliminal marketing.
Yes.
It worked. It worked.
Let me tell you, people liked Joe Camel, especially the ladies. Yes, they did. And then Camel Points, do you remember that?
Camel Points?
you get a grill or a
It's not that far away from Zen points.
No,
We've had
they're all the same
coworkers
thing.
and friends of ours that have collected up Zen points.
You're a Zen guy?
I am.
Right, yeah, I think most people your age are. Do you do the Zen points?
No.
Well, you need to start.
Just throwing it away.
Just wasting.
We talked to people who their girlfriends would collect up the Zen points and they would use it for cool stuff. That's
You can get like a
marketed towards
Dyson Airblade out of it.
Yeah. Well, and hair dryers too, apparently. Because the friend that we had.
I think you can get a Blackstone.
A what?
A Blackstone.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, somebody had this was a couple years ago, had a Traeger that you could get. And so that was what one of the people were saving up was to get the Traeger grill off of it.
What a cool club to be in. I feel like I need to start saving Zen points or start just buying them.
Get on your Zen.
I need to do the 2 milligrams. I got to start easy, though. Because if I do too much, it makes my stomach hurt.
2 milligrams is fine.
It can work as a laxative if you're not careful.
Yeah. Some of those people, they take down those 8 milligrams and they immediately go to the restroom. I got a friend of mine that exactly what happened to him.
I'll be right back. I gotta go.
He got things moving on him that morning. Like, poor Logan. He's off to the restroom.
It hit bottom.
He didn't know. He thought he was getting a 2.
Yeah. But he got an 8?
One of the parents had 8.
Wow. Dude, you can't do that to a 2. You can't do an 8 to a 2. I mean, you can do, 2 and 8. That's fine. You can't go the other way.
I rock the 9s.
God, dude.
What a burly man.
I bet the hair on Bryce's chest is so thick.
No wonder he sweats when he gets home. Sweats in his naps.
That's right. Oh, Lord, it's the Morning Xtra.
I don't know if that's your body wanting more or rejecting it.
And it's all that thick hair you have, It's just like a wool blanket. It's so hot. Good Lord. Uncover me, please. I can't. It's built in. 6 o'clock hour is brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we come back, Minneapolis is just how you have imagined it in your head. It's just like that. Next on Xtra.
If Minnesota has shown us anything, it's that the left will side with rioters over America. The real immigration crisis is inside blue cities, whose years of soft-on-crime, open border policies are now colliding with public safety. Atlanta's conservative news and talk station won't be swayed by headwinds of left-wing media. We'll always give you the facts from the most trusted voices in the country. Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
You and your buddy. You've been through a lot with each other. The ups and the downs. He's been with you every morning, noon, and night. You've traveled the world together. Heck, he was even with you on your first big date. But have you noticed he's struggling lately? Not performing on the job. He can't even stand up straight anymore. He's wanting to cry out for help, but just doesn't know how. He needs Dr. Deal and Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can give him the gift of good posture this year, help him stand proud and become all he was meant to be. Now, take him by the hand, look him in the eye and say, I appreciate you, little fella, and we're going to get you some help. We're going to call 404-777-1911. We're going to visit tbtofga.com. We are going to say goodbye to erectile dysfunction forever. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. It's a hard conversation to have, but it's one worth having. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Online at tbtofga.com.
Babe, can you knock out my honey-do list today?
Oh, I know. I told you I'd get to it this weekend.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalomia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. I can't fix your marriage, but I can fix your house. With our handyman for a day service, we'll handle those drywall patches, that door that won't latch, the leaky faucet, and the wood rot all around your house. The whole punch list, done fast, done right. You keep your weekend, she gets the house done. Everybody wins. Book your handyman for a day at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day, the Trusted Toolbox.
Opioids can start as a prescription for pain, but misuse can happen quickly, and addiction doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone. Take medications only as prescribed. Never share them and store and dispose of them safely. If you or someone you love is struggling, help is available. Call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Prevention starts with awareness. Learn more at georgiaopioidhelp.org. Sponsored by the Georgia Opioid Crisis Abatement Trust.
Attention Atlanta, it's the biggest truckload safe sale of the year at Safe Market and Liberty Safes of Atlanta. And it's happening for 3 days only. We're slashing prices by up to 40% on top quality American-made safes. Home safes, gun safes, commercial safes. With 3 showrooms, there's never been a better time to buy. But hurry, when the truck's empty, the deals are gone. Shop online or come into one of our 3 stores for even bigger savings. March 26th through March 28th only. Call 770-242-0055 or visit thesafemarket.com.
Hey, this is Los with Terry from Alpharetta, who just purchased a new car with the Honest Car Guy. The new, fully transparent, honest way to buy your next vehicle. Terry, tell us about your experience.
I have a son serving in the military. He's active duty with limited time to look for a car. My son was looking for a used Hyundai Veloster, and I had heard about the Honest Car Guy on the radio, decided that might be a route to go, and we made a phone call over the weekend. He screen shared the information with us. We looked over the vehicle, and he took the reins from there, and they were able to walk us through the process of buying the car. We're very clear and transparent, and next thing we knew, we had a car in the driveway.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
They lied, they cheated, and they broke the law. Liberal losers forced illegal migration on hardworking Americans. But conservative businessman Rick Jackson is ready to fight back.
I don't care if you're Muslim or Mongolian. You don't have the right to force your culture on our country.
Corrupt career politicians let the invasion happen, then made it worse. But conservative businessman Rick Jackson isn't going to let them get away with it.
Too often, criminal illegals commit sick, violent crimes, victimize our children, and get away with murder. So here's my guarantee to them. Do that when I'm governor, and you'll end up deported or departed. Any questions?
It's time to win big for Georgia. Rick Jackson, the Trump-supporting, straight-talking, successful businessman with nothing to lose. Rick Jackson for governor.
Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Tuesday, March 24th, and here are your headlines. The Georgia State Senate has passed a bill banning cell phone use during the school day in high schools, extending an existing policy already in place for younger students. The measure would prohibit phones from the first bell to the last, including class transitions, and now heads to Governor Brian Kemp for final approval. Metro Atlanta's pollen count on Monday ranked the 16th highest on record, with levels considered extremely high. Pine, oak, mulberry, sweet gum, and sycamore are pumping out the most pollen, as the metro area saw its highest count since April of 2025. And finally, in North Georgia, a massive fire destroyed the historic Floyd County Courthouse in Rome, a building that dates back to the 1890s. The building was undergoing construction at the time of the blaze, and officials say everyone inside was evacuated safely, but the structure is considered a total loss as the cause remains under investigation. Today's weather is a bit cooler with a high of 67 and a low of 47. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Before we get to story time here on Extra 106.3, I just got a call from Ron Goodbub. Rob's a great guy, works in Rich McCormick's office, U.S. Representative Dr. Rich McCormick, and he said they had a big event at the Metropolitan Club, Windward Parkway in Alpharetta over the weekend, and the man who introduced Dr. McCormick on the stage said, this man is becoming famous because he's on Extra 106.3 all the time.
Love it.
How about that? Just a big country call out for Extra and you listening to Extra this morning. People know that you are the target. You are the ones that matter. You're the voters that make the decisions about Dr. McCormick and all the others. Everybody else running for office, they come on this show to speak to you directly, and that's a perfect example of it. And I appreciate Ron taking the time this morning during his run. I could hear he was out of breath too.
That man,
he was doing. Yeah, he's in great shape.
Bright and early, he's after it.
Always in great shape, and we appreciate that too. So, wanted to let you know that you're being represented all over town as a listener of Extra 106.3. Let's get to story time.
Settle in and get comfortable, folks. It's story time with Uncle Los.
Oh, thank you to sweet, clean, crisp, young Bryce. Kissed by the sweet bird of youth. Don't know if it's an owl, but the sweet bird of youth sits on his shoulder every morning. And to Tug, mi amigo. I'll be with you all the way until June now.
I don't feel lonely or cheated on.
Not going to be gone. Not going to have to worry about travel.
That's right.
If I'm not here, it's because something weird has happened.
That's right.
Otherwise, it's you and me.
Love
back
that.
in this thing together.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Been a crazy month. So I wanted
But a good month because it's so much fun.
Good month of all. But I wanted to culminate. Normally, like, story time has some sort of historical aspect to it. This one doesn't. This is just a recap of my Minneapolis experience. Now, I want to go back to 3 years ago. Our team, bunch of girls, all 12 years old, and one of the assistant coaches told us, listen, it used to be a really great town. She's like, it's still aspects of it are a great town. She's like, but a certain political party has tried to ruin this thing.
Wow.
I mean, she flat out was like, this is what's going on here. And this was after we had gone through the riots and the burning of everything down in 2020.
Yeah.
So we saw some of the remnants of that, right? Well, I'm going back to Minneapolis. This is the heart of this leftist push, the anti-ICE and all of that. Yeah. Flat out will tell you, saw none of it. Didn't exist. But just under the surface, you deal with some crazy stuff. Now, for instance, my trip from the airport in the Uber with a couple of the other parents, no big deal. Jumped in the car, headed on over. That wasn't the experience for everyone on our team. In fact, we had one of our teammates and her dad got into town a little bit later in the evening, called an Uber, got picked up. Person drove down the highway, missed the exit, slammed on the brakes, backed up on the highway.
Seems unsafe.
To go to the exit. Now, the dad, he's not one to make up stories or anything else. And as he tells me this, he's like, Los, the guy didn't know any English. And I'm like, did you get the impression he might have been from an African nation?
Yes.
As I'm kind of asking the question. We had some girls, we went out to a dinner on Friday night. A couple of the parents hop in an Uber. Person doesn't know English. Completely missed all the areas that they were trying to get to. Now, if you don't know what this game has been, what you do have within these United States is you will have people that will apply for like an Uber and Uber Eats, a Lyft, everything else like that. And what they'll do is they will basically create indentured servitude. They will basically hire somebody. You're now under their name, and you can always sometimes tell because the name doesn't match up and neither does the car. Now, we saw this a few times where you would have a Somali driver show up and they didn't know English, and the traffic laws are a little bit different in Somalia apparently versus Minneapolis.
Well, and Uber, I would assume, trying to combat that and keep people safe is always like, hey, check the tag number. If the tag doesn't match, don't get in, probably for a similar reason, I would imagine.
So there was a little bit of that we saw. And like I said, always right underneath the surface. Now, we did make a trip to the Mall of America. I'll talk about the front end of it. When you have the discussion of how that community is now completely different in terms of you will see traditional Middle Eastern attire and African attire. Yeah. Like, not just a little bit.
Yes,
a lot.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
When we drove past the U.S. Bank Stadium, they're flying out in front of it. Here's the United States flag. And then here's the flag of the state of Minnesota, which does really look like a flag from Somalia.
That's Tim Walz changed it.
That is what the criticism has been for that area. Now, I will tell you, because Minnesota, when we talk about the 1984 election, Minnesota has always been recognized as they will indulge in very leftist politics. Mayor Frey there, that guy, it's just total nut. This is still the same state that gave us Jesse Ventura.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the weirdest thing we can do? The 1984 election, when Ronald Reagan won 49 states, the only one he didn't win was Minnesota. Yeah. So Minnesota takes a lot of pride in this. which means, in my opinion, they also know the game and they know how to play the game. And this was the moment where things went too far. We decided, because our hotel was right down the street, that we would take the public train system. Now,
that seems like a bad idea. I think I would have waved that one off. I'd be like, Los, no, don't do it.
Listen, I'm the one. I am very comfortable saying I will spend the $40 or $50 to go wherever on the Uber. Knowing also I might have a driver that doesn't know any English based on some of the conversations we're having with other parents. But I capitulated. I was like, you know what? That's fine. Let's do this. We're going with a group. There's like 12 of us in the group. So it's not small. It's like there's one or two of us. It's what you do, right? We get on that train, and there's security on there. Feel very comfortable. Just chatting with everybody.
Okay.
Everybody was very cordial. It was fine. We were riding 30 minutes over to the Mall of America before we head on over to the airport. And this is when I tell you about dealing with how these people work. So as we're getting to our last couple of stops, there is an old man who's on the train. Now, me and a couple of the parents are sitting about 10 feet away. Our girls are sitting about 10 feet up in front of us. And the only person who's on the train sitting across is the old guy. What then happens is we get off the train and the girls are barking at this person. And a couple of the parents start getting after this guy. And I walk up and I'm thinking to myself, is this...
What in the world could be going on?
He was taking pictures of my daughter and some of the other kids.
Oh, Lord.
My daughter saw it in the reflection when we went into the tunnel.
Yeah.
She could see on his phone that he was zooming in on faces.
Yeah.
Of pictures he'd already taken.
So creepy.
And it's reflecting off the back window.
So creepy.
So we get off the train. I'm now starting to understand what's going on.
Yeah, sure.
And one of the moms is like, well, you need to delete that. You need to delete that right now. He goes to delete it. He's like, see, it's gone. And she goes, no, you need to also go into your recently deleted.
Delete it from the deleteds.
Now he's pretending like he doesn't know what to do.
Sure.
And so what happens is now I'm starting to figure out the whole minor attracted persons thing. And this guy's telling us, I didn't do anything illegal. He's like, if you want to call the cops, call the cops. It's like, sure.
Well, because he knows the cops ain't going to do anything.
We get in the Mall of America. The security, as we explain what happened to them, sit them down. Metro police show up, start giving statements, start going through all the stuff we're doing. And that MFer knew exactly what he was doing. Because the police basically tell us, well, he didn't commit a crime. He didn't say anything forward to them, even though he was eyeballing. And as I told the police, I go, not one of them. I go, I know they're tall. I'm like, they're all minors. I was like, the oldest one's 16. I was like, the rest of them are all 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
I was like, he's snapping pictures of them. They proceed to tell me that there's not much they can do. And now here's the next part. And again, because some of these communities protect minor attracted people. Okay? Now, you do this in Florida, it's a different game.
Yeah.
You do this in a couple... You know why certain communities make sure to let you know that it ain't going to be like the rest of the world? Like for anybody who gets all upset about, oh, look, there's a Confederate flag. I feel like triggered by it. No. Those communities are letting you know we do things differently around here. You're not going to be snapping pictures of little girls on trains and getting away with it. So here's how this plays out. We are now being told by mall security. They're like, did he do this here? Like, no, he did it on the train. It's like, well, we can't run him out of here. It's not our, can't do anything about it.
What a load of crap.
The police are basically telling us, as they've got him sitting over there in the corner and trying to, I think they're trying to intimidate him to get rid of the pictures. But they know, because he knew how to play the game, that he's going to be okay. That he didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, nothing's going to happen. Yeah.
So I snapped a picture of that creepy old man.
Yeah.
And he, like I said,
he looks like a burnout hippie from the 60s or something.
Yeah. And
he's got the skullet and the ponytail.
He's got the skullet and the ponytail and the look. And as I told the people at the mall, I said, you know why he came up here, right? He's coming up here to take pictures of kids.
Yeah.
I was like, Now, in a different community,
yeah,
it's going to be handled differently. I found out in Minneapolis how things are handled. And so...
Not at all, it's clearly.
And so one of the girls that he was doing that to, she couldn't even eat. She was creeped out.
I'm sure.
My daughter was creeped. And my daughter's the one who called it to attention.
Yeah.
So like all the other parents are really proud of her. It kind of shakes you up to know that there's somebody who's violating you in this way. But because he knew how to play the game, as many of these pedophiles do, and constantly, what are we always told? They always show up as like these people that are like, I'm a defender of the trans movement. I'm a defender of this. Turns out they got kiddie porn. Turns out they've got all this creepiness. And so the very heart of what never happens
is happening again.
Happened. So as much as I can point out, hey, the drivers in Minneapolis, like, yeah, they got a problem there. And there's a lot of people don't know English. Yeah. A lot of people that don't know how to drive. A lot of people that you can't be safe around. But then the ones that do, it is the playground of the left.
But dude, isn't that...
And it's just gross.
Isn't that just a snapshot of what we already thought about Minneapolis?
Yeah.
I've never been to Minneapolis, ever.
But to have it in our
to have it
face that way.
Right, almost to rub it in. You're not safe here.
No.
I want you to know you're not safe here.
In fact, when we were at the mall and we started talking about, hey, maybe the kids want to jump on some of the rides or anything else, at that point, all the parents are like, no, we're just going to have them sit over the corner.
Yeah, let's just
eat dinner. We're getting out of here. Let's get out of this town.
As quickly as you possibly can.
And this was done. This was done right in front of a bunch of parents. Like this guy was so...
He already knew. He's done that 10,000 times.
He sure has. I'm sure he had a phone filled of young girls' pictures that he'd been taking.
So gross. You wonder why people are leaving blue cities and blue states with such... I mean, it's happening with such frequency.
But they know the game.
Right.
And then the laws of that city and how they handle things. I mean...
Or don't.
I would love to hear from another law enforcement professional who would tell me, well, okay, not a big deal. I'm like, what would you think if it was your daughter? Or in this case, how would y'all handle that differently? Because in Minneapolis, they were having to play the game of, yes, we have a city full of minor attracted people.
And the
left rules the roost here, and we're stuck. Like the police were almost apologetic because they knew how creepy it was, and they saw the look on all the girls' faces, and they saw the parents that were extremely, extremely pissed.
I wonder why they stay on as police officers there. No, I mean, I'm sure it's their job. Look, it's how they feed their family or whatever.
Look, I think it's a lot of people that are trying to do good work within their community, within the constraints of that community.
But you can't. Like, take your skill and your ability to a place that appreciates you, a place that allows you to be an asset to your community. You mentioned Florida. I would mention a lot, a big portion of Georgia is that way. Tennessee's that way. Alabama's that way. South Carolina's that way. There's a lot. North Carolina's off the rails on the crazy train in many ways. But there's places that will appreciate you and appreciate the effort that you're putting in.
And I believe that's why we are seeing people that are voting with their feet. They're showing what is going on in these communities. And if they can, if it's economically feasible, they're leaving. They are leaving. And so, in closing, first off, no more public transit for Los and his kids ever again.
No, thank you.
At the same time as well, man, like you tell your kids to be vigilant, but when they are, and you're like, you're proud of them, at the same time, you're also like, that dude did some damage to some of those girls on that train. Like
sure. Intimidating, man. That's so intimidating.
One of our girls is an 8th grader. Like she couldn't talk to anybody. She was creeped out so much.
And I understand that and know that that's hard. But I would imagine 25-year-old women struggle with the same thing.
Sure.
Grown women, your own wife, my wife, if they were in that situation, would probably be very, very uneasy.
Yes.
And then you take it a step further, going into women's spaces, as we know that they defend in Minneapolis. It's the worst, dude. It's as low down as it gets. It's the worst. It is the worst. What a terrible environment for women to have to live in.
Yeah, and to hear that man try and make excuses to the police And to everyone he was trying.
He didn't even have to try. He just did because they knew there was nothing they could do.
He knew the game.
He knew the game probably even better than the police officer did because he's done it 1,000 times.
And so, yeah, he was going up to the mall, I'm sure, to take plenty of pictures.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 1063. Coming up, I've found the clip for Front Office Los that we're talking about in that first segment from Jeopardy. So I want him to hear that. I want you to hear that. And then Cynthia is supposed to be dialing us back to talk about cigarettes. And then if
he
you're
smokes with cigarettes.
Exactly. And if you're a Georgia student, you're going to need an old-fashioned calculator. Next on Extra.
Extra 1063 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, March 24th. The Atlanta Hawks remain hot. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies at State Farm Arena last night, 146-107 in blowout fashion. The Hawks are now tied for the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. They will have a chance to take sole possession of that spot over the final 10 games of the season. For Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves, well, they're going to be without starting pitcher Spencer Strider going into the season. He has landed on the injured list with a strained oblique. Strider was set to be the number 3 starter. The Braves will open up the season at home on Friday against the Kansas City Royals. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
When you're ready for a new truck, SUV, or car, there's one place Atlanta drivers keep coming back to: Jim Ellis Chevrolet.
That's because Jim Ellis Chevrolet makes buying a Chevy quick, easy, and hassle-free.
No pressure, no games, just a smooth, transparent experience from start to finish.
And the Chevy lineup is stacked, from the legendary Silverado to the versatile Equinox to the bold new Blazer and the fuel-saving Chevy EVs.
Plus, they've got a huge selection in stock right now, which means more choices, better availability, and competitive pricing you can feel good about.
Here's the best part. You don't even have to start at the dealership. You can shop online, value your trade, schedule a test drive, even complete your paperwork from home. It's called the Jim Ellis Expressway, and it lets you buy the way you want, in-store, online, or a mix of both.
And when you do step inside, you're treated like a guest, not a transaction. That's the Jim Ellis difference. Shop online at JimEllisChevrolet.com or visit Jim Ellis Chevy on Peachtree Boulevard just inside the perimeter.
Jim Ellis Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Attention, Antifa, human traffickers, cartels, and woke DAs. With Chris Carr as governor, you won't stand a chance.
I'm Chris Carr. In Georgia, we will prosecute you. It's easy for politicians to talk tough, but I'm the only Republican who put gangs, human traffickers, and Antifa behind bars. I even fought Obama, Biden, and Abrams in court and won. If you're attacking our police or our freedoms, I'll be your worst nightmare.
Chris Carr doesn't just talk tough. Carr had the courage, brought the cases, and locked up the criminals. He has more than 120 gang convictions. Over 200 human trafficking victims have been rescued and seized enough fentanyl to kill 3.5 million Georgians. Carr's taking on the woke left, making crime illegal again. As governor, Chris Carr will keep up the fight and never back down. Chris Carr, governor. Real fights, real wins, real conservative. Paid for by Carver, Georgia.
Hey there, it's Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses like Grace Point School.
Thanks, Tara. I'm Liz Powell, head of school at Grace Point. We are a Christian school in Marietta that serves dyslexic learners in grades 1 through 8. Grace Point School is accredited by the Academy of Orton Gillingham practitioners and educators, as well as the Southern Association of Independent Schools. We are a full immersion program and remediate dyslexia.
As a partner and a parent, I can tell you firsthand, Grace Point is a game changer.
As you know, Tara, early intervention makes a difference. Our teachers celebrate the gifts and strengths of our students. We are currently accepting applications for the 26-27 school year. Come learn more about our small class sizes, individual attention, excellent teachers, and one-of-a-kind community.
If your child is a dyslexic learner, reach out to Grace Point today. And remember, our town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
Hey, it's Glenn, and I have a really important update about the housing market. If you tried to sell your home in 2025, did it sell? Maybe you were convinced that it was impossible to sell, much less buy a new home. I have some news that might interest you, and I actually get to brag a bit about my own company, realestateagentsitrust.com.
Last year, my company had its best year ever. Our network agents sold more homes. We helped more home buyers than any other year in our 11-year history. In fact, we surpassed $4 billion in real estate transactions since our inception. I wish I could take credit, but I'm not the reason for the success. Working with the sharpest and most competent real estate professionals all across the country and matching them with people just like you in this audience, prospective home buyers and sellers, is the key. In short, we're successful because we're good at what we do no matter what experts have to say about the conditions of the real estate market. The name says it all. RealestateAgentsITrust.com. Go there now.
Principal software architect positions offered by Isometrics USA Inc. in Alpharetta, Georgia. Collaborate with stakeholders and subject matter experts on environment, social, and governance, ESG, as well as environment, health, and safety, EHS, to determine business goals and market placement. Please submit resume to recruitment-usa@isometrix.com. Reference job ID 102-84188.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 1063. Appreciate you being here. So, I found it. Front Office Los. I was watching Jeopardy last night, and I know that sounds like an old man thing to do, and it kind of is, but I kind of love it.
Kind of.
I really. Well, which part? Kind of. Which part?
Kind of is.
Definitely.
I did enjoy watching last week when I did.
Thank you.
I'll enjoy the replays.
Oh, no. You don't get to come back in.
I'm just saying.
You don't get to opt out. You don't get to talk ugly about it.
You
come back.
You made your ruling on it.
You did. You don't get to come back.
Old man. I'm just saying. I enjoy my fair share of old things.
Front Office Los, they had a question that reminded me of you immediately.
Fitting sports names for 600.
How have we aired a dozen clues about this all-time top scorer for the NBA Spurs and missed that his name is perfect for his sport? Max.
Who's Duncan?
Yes, very good at Duncan. You have
there we go. You would have nailed it. You would have gotten it immediately.
Yeah.
It took me a split second, but they even had his picture, and I was like, it's Duncan, but I couldn't remember Tim.
That would have helped because once they said all-time leading scorer, I was like, huh? Because Tim Duncan was never a tremendous scorer in the league. But then as soon as they went to the Spurs and then what he was, listen, Duncan at his best was a 24, 25 point a game scorer. He wasn't like a 30-point guy.
Yeah.
But he just was so tough.
Yeah, he was for sure. But immediately I was like, that's a Front Office Los question there. I wonder if he's watching, because now that you've watched a few times, I was thinking maybe you were at that point. Let me know if Cynthia dials back up, because I want to know about her cigarettes. And then if you have a student here in Georgia, or a kid, grandkid, whatever, you better get them an old school calculator. You know, the one that had the little slide out piece on it. The reason is because they can't use their phones as calculators anymore. It was passed into law yesterday here in the state of Georgia. No cell phones in class. Can they have them in their book bag? Yes. Can they have them locker? Yes, but not in class.
I'm torn on this because I do believe that the functionality of the phone, I don't think I've used a regular calculator outside of when I was doing taxes like a month ago, just because it was there. Everything is your functionality through your phone. I think a lot of times that we are now in this academic field where we look at it as, well, the phone is a crutch. Oh, the phone is what you're going to use all the time.
Yes.
It's a handheld computer. Yeah. Why not learn to use it in the way that you should? But I do also recognize that
TikTok is real.
Well, I think our schools are a lot better when our kids are not staring at their phones.
Without a doubt.
The interaction is so much better.
And I guess I say you need an old school calculator. because they all use laptops and there's a calculator.
Man, we bought a TI-85.
Yeah,
recently.
That was Texas Instruments, right?
Yeah, my daughter had a math course like a year ago, 2 years ago, that required a scientific graphing calculator.
Jacob did in college too. They wouldn't allow in college you to use your phone. You had to use the calculator. Was a part of the requirement. So and my thing, immediately I thought, do we need a law?
Can't we just have policy?
Yeah, can't we just say, hey, this is, for Fulton County they don't allow it, or for Forsyth County they don't allow this. They, let each individual county do their thing. Look, the fact that they passed anything, I guess, is good. You should be surprised that they may be able to do that.
I'm just curious when you go out and buy yourself a TI-85 or TI-81 or whatever it is you're buying that's like a graphing calculator or has that sort of functionality, we're talking anywhere in the range of $85 to like $105 these days. All right, your phone is $1,000. All right, it's got apps. You can probably do just as much on it.
Yeah.
It almost feels like you're keeping the calculator business afloat.
Alive. The other part of it is, though, I've seen studies that echo what I've always thought, because I told my son when he was smaller, when he was in grade school, I was like, dude, write it down. If you write it down, it makes it real. It's not the same as banging it out on your calculator or on your phone in a text message. When you physically write something down, you commit it to memory quicker, I believe. And I think there's plenty of studies that show that. So I think another thing is being able to physically do the work. There's something different about the phone, and I don't know why it is that way, but I do believe that it is.
I just believe that for many kids, it's a distraction.
No, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I just know that when it comes to my kid, if you give her extra time, it will be a distraction. If she doesn't have the time, then it's fine. It's a tool.
Yeah, right. I wish most kids were like that. I don't think they are. I think most kids.
I get it.
I think most kids immediately go to distraction first, and then when I have time, I'll get to the things I need to do.
But I was also the guy in college who used to bring my Sports Illustrated to my economics class and sit there and read it cover to cover. It's like I found my own way to like not pay attention. I was like, I'll read up on this later.
I'll figure out a way.
And you might ask, well, why did you go to the class? Because
it was required.
we had attendance policy within the baseball program.
That's right. Absolutely, man. When we come back, the Trump peace deal next on the Morning Extra.
The communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Join Daniel Madelon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. This week's guest is former Lieutenant Governor and candidate for Governor, Jeff Duncan. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
So, you had a long day. You decided to stop for a cocktail on the way home. The next thing you know, you had one too many, and you just got pulled over. You need A Second Chance Bail Bonds. A Second Chance can get you or a loved one out of jail quickly, in most cases, in a matter of hours. A Second Chance Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Get help now. Call 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT, or contact them online at atlbail.com.
It's the hardest working part of your home, your garage door. When it fails, you need someone you can trust. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. When the largest and most important opening of your home breaks, don't hire a schmo. Call the local name you know, All Four Seasons. Ask your neighbors. We offer upfront pricing, free estimates on all major brands, and 24/7 service. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Securing America.
President Trump welcomed some future military leaders to the White House Friday as he awarded the Commander-in-Chief trophy to the Naval Academy's football team. Navy coach Brian Newberry, however, said his team understands it carries a greater responsibility than just football.
Each day they strive to live up to the core values of honor, courage, and commitment, and the standards of those who came before them. Leaders of character who have gone on to serve our country with distinction.
The coach also noted that after graduating, 28 of his seniors will be commissioned as officers. And while Newberry is grateful his team beat Air Force and Army on the field, he understands that when it comes to the rivalry between the service academies,
it is grounded in deep and enduring respect, because we know that one day many of these young men may stand shoulder to shoulder in defense of our nation.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Stream Atlanta's only conservative voice anywhere you go with the Xtra 106.3 app. Now equipped with Apple CarPlay. That means you'll always have Xtra's crystal clear HD stream right on your dashboard no matter where you are. Download the all-new Xtra 106.3 app now and start streaming. The Morning Xtra. Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, and The Kimmer Show on WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. Xtra 106.3.
They don't even agree that they're trying to work out an agreement. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump insists Iran badly wants to work out a deal. He says it could be good for everybody.
As good as if we went all the way and just literally annihilated the place, which if we don't have to do that, that would be a good thing, not a bad thing.
But Iran's parliament speaker, reported to be involved in the talks, calls that fake news.
Iran's Revolutionary Guards also dismissing what they call psychological operations. But an Iranian foreign ministry official admits his country has at least reviewed points from the US as a precursor to talks. The White House says the situation is fluid. Reuters reports Pakistan could host substantive peace talks as soon as this week.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. President Trump delayed his threatened attacks on Iran's power plants and energy infrastructure, but the U.S. and Israel continue hitting other targets, and Iran keeps countering, launching another barrage of missiles at Israel. Fox's Trey Yingst is at the site where one got through air defense.
Right now, first responders are removing debris and rubble from the site of a direct impact in Tel Aviv. The side of this apartment building totally sheared off. At least 6 people were wounded in Israel's second largest city as these Iranian missile barrages continue.
Mark Wade Mullen will soon be a former senator. Confirmed last night, maybe sworn in today as the new Homeland Security Secretary as talks continue, trying to end a stalemate over funding his department. TSA agents have worked without pay for more than a month, and more aren't showing up, leading to hours-long airport security lines. So Fox's Madeline Rivera reports.
ICE agents have been spotted at major airports. Border Czar Tom Homan says they're prioritizing airports where the wait times are the longest, like in Atlanta, Houston, New Orleans, and New York City.
That's where investigators continue looking into Sunday night's crash at LaGuardia Airport. National Transportation Safety Board Director Jennifer Homendy just told Fox.
They have a lot of questions for air traffic control.
An Air Canada Express flight collided with a fire truck right after landing, killing both pilots. America's listening to Fox News.
Why does Progressive love protecting truckers? Because truckers unite the world. Truckers unite candles and yoga instructors. Truckers unite fake plants with people who shouldn't own living plants. Truckers unite French press coffee makers with the most pretentious person you know. But truckers can't do any of this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive now offers truckers even more protection on cargo with its enhanced Cargo Plus coverage. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. Not available in California.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors America's heroes and their families, heroes like Scott Abrams. Now, for more than 3 decades, Scott served his community and country while he was on his NYPD motorcycle escorting a funeral procession. Scott was hit by a bus, leaving him partially paralyzed. Tunnel to Towers was able to honor Scott with a mortgage-free smart home. Please join us supporting the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. If you can donate $11 a month, go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Want weather? Grab your phone. Need traffic? Grab your phone. Conservative news and talk, also on your phone. Get the Xtra 106.3 app.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los until 10 on Xtra 106.3. 404-741-1230. Always welcome to join the conversation at Xtra 106.3 across the social media platforms.
Like Cynthia when she called to tell us about her family's use of cigarettes.
Lark cigarettes.
Lark cigarettes.
She said that's what her grandfather used to smoke. I've never even heard of Lark cigarettes, to be honest with you. I felt like I was pretty well versed in cigarettes. You know, I mean, my cousin Curtis smoked when he was 9
and trafficked.
Yeah, yes, that was probably 13.
They fell off trucks.
Yeah, that's right.
Curtis would give it to you.
That's right.
You make a little money on the other end.
That's right. And if he liked you a lot, he would maybe give you, pop one out and you could partake. That was part of the addiction process. It would get you hooked and then charge you small amounts for the
Great business right there. That's how you get repeat customers.
It is, absolutely.
Lark featured a gas trap filter, which was their selling point.
A gas trap filter, I'll be.
It had an activated charcoal granules.
Oh, okay.
So this was their selling point.
Okay, yeah, no, I love those. Those are great.
And then during the campaign during the 60s, mentioned to show us your lark pack.
I mean, it's
or have a lark day.
I mean, Marlboro's, they were the cowboy cigarette. Or at least that was the marketing, right? I mean, I don't know if it really was, but that was the marketing. It was the cowboy cigarette. And then they developed the nickname Cowboy Killers. I mean,
when people started to fall out.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. And now it's just understood. Cowboy Killers. That's what you call Marlboros.
So when we had our run, the volleyball tournament, we get off to a nice 3-0 start. The libations are flowing. And I'd start telling the guys that I'm hanging out with, I go, this feels like a old Milwaukee commercial from the 80s. Like before Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
They'd always have it. And do you remember how it would be a bunch of guys in the woods next to like this beautiful river? And it was always, guys, it just don't get any better than this.
I do remember that.
That was the ad. And for the longest time, you're like, if I drink Old Milwaukee,
I'll be like sitting on the riverbank with my friends.
Guys,
it'll be great.
It just don't get any better than this.
The one that stood out to me more than any was the beer commercial. It was the one where the bull ran through the wall. Was that?
I remember when Miller Lite had John Madden.
Yeah, well,
going through the wall.
Yeah,
great taste and less filling.
That's right.
It's like, is that Coach? Did Coach just go through the wall again?
Again, wall beer.
Schlitz?
And there you go, Schlitz. Yes. I remember that so vividly, and I don't know why. Like, I don't tie it to any TV show necessarily. I just remember the bull running through the wall, and I was like, holy cow, dude. You better drink that beer.
I have a Schlitz shirt at home.
Do you really?
So my grandfather used to drink Schlitz, and it was either Schlitz or Lone Star.
Okay.
Or Pearl Light.
I've heard of Lone Star, never heard of Pearl Light.
So those were like the 3 beers that came out of the distillery or whatever it is that they had there in San Antonio, like in the downtown area, that you could get beer on the cheap. And so it was either Schlitz, Pearl, or Lone Star.
There you go. And I
don't think any one of them was particularly good, but when you're granddad and you're having trouble making ends meet, sometimes you got to drink the Schlitz, the
absolutely.
Pearl, or Lone Star.
No, that's right. Yeah. You get the cheap stuff, no doubt. I just never developed a taste for beer, so my drinks were always relatively expensive, so I've just been abused that way my whole life. You get overseas in the Navy and people be drinking dollar beers and you drink cocktails of some sort.
So yours is $4
Yeah.
and you recognize it's only a $3 difference. Yeah, but it's 4 times the cost.
That's right, and it adds up after a while, especially when you're my year that I made the most, when I was the highest ranked my last year, I was an E5. And I look back at my Social Security statement that they mail out once in a while. I made $15,000 that year. 15 grand. That's what I made.
And you're
as a
drinking
sailor.
$4 drinks.
That's right. And I was like, good Lord, I can't afford this. I've got to find out.
Cowart's doing well.
What's he got going on the side? Because everybody else is like, there's no way this dude's being able to afford this all the time. But that's the way it went.
I'm a big Blue Moon fan.
Okay, my wife loves Blue Moon too. Yep, she likes with the orange slice in there. Yep. I just never. Los, what's your beer of choice if you drink beer?
I'll just get a Miller Lite.
Just Miller Lite.
Nothing crazy. Listen, I used to really enjoy a lot, like Magic Hat number 9. I would go stock that thing out.
I've never even heard of that.
Oh yeah, Magic Hat. Mm-mm. Oh yeah, I'd get the number 9. No, there's a handful that when we do Beer Fest, I would really enjoy. But I've settled into my years of now. If I'm going to sit down and have something, it's going to be 1 or 2 drinks, and it's going to be something I'm going to enjoy. More than likely, a Lynchburg lemonade.
Yeah, there you go.
Tito's and Sprite, vodka Sprite.
Love Lynchburg lemonade.
Oh yeah, or a margarita.
My neighbor has built out just a bourbon bar. He went to the University of Kentucky, so he's from here, but went to the University of Kentucky and just fell in love with bourbons. He's done the bourbon trail and all that. His the little bar, the kind of the back wall of his bar is made of all cut up bourbon barrels. Like that's the wood that he ordered. Yeah, it was really cool.
It's got a nice smell to it if you're getting the authentic stuff.
And those do, for sure. And he's got 2 shelves of just bourbons I've never heard of. Some that are like a smaller craft version of the the big brands.
Oh, sure.
That they just don't market the way that they do the other stuff.
Some bourbon distilleries will do specially marketed ones to certain communities, certain neighborhoods.
Yep.
In fact, every year we get a Hampton Cove version of this one particular bourbon, and it's because that community does a tasting, and they pick that barrel, and that barrel is specific for that neighborhood in Huntsville, Alabama. It's a big golf community,
Yeah,
so it's a cool crossover.
So I'll just go over there next door, and just when we can, because his family's busy, my family's busy, but when we can, get over there and get a little 3-finger whiskey or something, and just sip on there and catch up on whatever's going on in the neighborhood, what the kids are up to. All the the problems that we have with the houses. We just complain about having to fix things, and if you're a homeowner, that you're always fixing something. Tug and Los until 10, an extra 106.3. The first thing to know this morning.
Way out west, there's a show, the Morning Xtra, Tug so bold, deep in the story, breaking news that's bold.
So we're working on, it's our understanding, working on a peace deal to bring the war in Iran to a close. I know plenty of people are reporting on it. A lot of people are questioning whether it's real or not. But the people in Islamabad say it's real. And then obviously the White House is sending J.D. Vance, along with an envoy of other people, to nail down what could be a conclusion to the war in Iran. Donald Trump's not saying a lot, and that's probably a smart thing.
It's always we brought this up, operational security. You're not going to, as a commander-in-chief, tell everything that you're involved in. And so when it comes to Donald Trump, and he was asked about this yesterday, I get it. If you're the media, you should be asking, hey, who are you working with? Who are you talking to? Because the head of the snake hasn't been cut off just once. Or what are we now talking about? Like 3 or 4 times, where Donald Trump at one point in the first week of these operations made the point. All the people we thought about working with, they're all dead.
They're all underground now.
So it was, okay, who's the next person you're talking with? That was the question he was asked about yesterday.
Steve Witkoff speaking with, Mr. President.
A top person. Don't forget, we've wiped out the leadership phase 1, phase 2, and largely phase 3. But we're dealing with the man who I believe is the most respected and the leader. It's a little tough. We've wiped out everybody.
Is that the Supreme Leader?
No, not the Supreme Leader. We don't. Well, nobody heard of the second Supreme Leader, the son.
Are these direct?
Nobody. We have not heard from the son. Every once in a while, you'll see a statement made, but we haven't. We don't know if he's living. But the people that seem to be running it, and they seem that based on really fact, because things they've said have taken place.
Mr. President,
again,
Mr. President, I know you've deployed.
Because I don't want him to be killed. Okay, I don't want him to be killed.
Mr. President, you've deployed.
Nobody wants to be that. Nobody wants that job right now. Nobody's exactly looking forward to being the head of that particular country. But perhaps we'll be able to solve that problem.
Mr. President,
that is one of the most telling statements. No one wants to be seen as running that right now.
Because you have a huge target on your hand.
You're next.
Yeah, no, that's right. I love the fact that that is what they're trying to accomplish. Let's figure out a way to solve the war. Let's make sure that our needs are met. No nuclear weapons, and I guarantee the people in the Arab countries, the surrounding nations, are involved in these same conversations. Obviously, that didn't get brought up, but you can guarantee that the Saudis are really involved because they have a lot of vested interest in the Straits of Hormuz being opened and Iran not having nuclear weapons.
And this was what Donald Trump had out yesterday, and then was commenting on it from here. The threat was going to be that if you continue your hostilities, if you continue firing around the rest of the Middle East at these other countries, we are going to annihilate your power grid. Like, we are going to make sure and send you back to the Stone Age.
That's the next step.
And that was apparently enough, because I think at this point, I think the regime that's currently running it, whoever they are, looked at that as, that will probably be the moment when people show up and tear us apart. Because when we've had these situations the last 25 years, this is how it evolves, and then it turns into power grids out, food's pretty questionable, not a whole lot of energy. The people rise up, they take whoever's in charge, and they tear them apart.
To that point, we've dropped 9,000, or we've hit 9,000 targets. At any point, we could have hit those power grids. At any point, we could have hit all of their oil infrastructure, which will fund the rebuild. So we're trying to avoid that, which makes sense, right? You don't want to bomb them back to the Stone Ages, but if someone in the IRGC who's running this now, the Ayatollah, the new supreme leader, is feckless, useless, pointless. They're impotent at best. And if what is true about the Ayatollah's son that is supposed to be the supreme leader now, the IRGC has no respect for him anyway. It's not going to work. He's not ever going to lead that country. So why? And the fact that we've not seen him, that's the other thing. And
he might be missing a leg.
And it's probably missing a leg if he's not dead or severely disfigured, as Trump said. But at any point, we could have taken out, in those 9,000 strikes on strategic targets, we could have taken out any of that stuff. We've decided not to. We've held off. And I think someone in the IRGC, probably someone that had communication with the United States, and we know that we've been calling IRGC members on their cell phones to say, hey, we know where you are. Your phone just pinged on the tout. We know where you are. So at some point,
we're going to let you live.
Right. We're going, or
you're going to work with us.
Or you're going to work with us. That's exactly where I was going.
It's the same tactic what happened in Venezuela. We're going to take Maduro. We're going to let y'all handle your business from here. Here's what we want. Here's how we're going to have cooperation. If you don't like it, we'll find someone else.
Yeah.
That's about as strong-arm bully of a tactic.
And I like it.
And I like it. This is what I voted for. I didn't vote for the teacher's lounge and a committee and a dementia patient. Right? I voted for leadership. And right or wrong, you can say whatever you want to about Donald Trump, whether you approve of actions or don't. But this is what real leadership in the world looks like. There's a reason why you have Europe getting behind this. You've actually united the Middle East against Iran.
And in cooperation with the Israelis.
They're in cooperation with the Israelis.
And going after Iran. Never. 20 years ago, if you would have said this is a possibility,
no chance.
People would have called you a liar to your face.
In fact, and I think this is what we were talking about and working with data that was out of date. Because once all of this kicked off, especially as we got a few days into it, you then had the liberal media on edge of, well, this is going to start World War III. Because 20 years ago, this is how we envisioned World War III. That Israel and Iran, and then it would plunge the whole region into a fight against Israel, and we would have to get involved, and now everybody's coming to the party.
Yeah, it's us against the world.
And it's just not like that. Those liberal think tanks had it completely wrong because they didn't understand the effect of the Abraham Accords, the idea of being able to share technology and to move the Middle East into a more productive technological future. And Iran won't play games with that. They won't play along with it.
Crazy thing is, that first Trump term, getting the Abraham Accords done, which nobody said could ever happen. Moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, never could happen. None of that's ever going to happen, Los. Couldn't happen. And Trump got it done in his first term. Then, obviously, we know what happened with 2020. And now back in office, that same game plan. Instead of sending Iran billions of dollars, which you knew they were going to use for nuclear capability, for nuclear weapons, not just power and energy. That was never their plan. So instead of sending them billions of dollars, you go in and say, here's the way it's going to be. This is the way it has to happen. And that's pretty much the way it's went. And the entire Middle East is like, yeah, he's right.
So let's just run through the scoreboard here. You have Cuba that's falling apart. We will be involved in what the future of Cuba is going to look like.
There's already discussions there, obviously. We talked about that.
You have the Iranians that are trying to negotiate a peace because there's nothing else they can do without getting their heads blown off. Venezuela is now one of our buddies again, as far as, here's what we're going to do, here's how you're going to work with us. Okay, you got it. We now have the Chinese out of the hemisphere because of what we have done. And you think we're so concerned about lines at airports? That was easy to fix too.
Yeah, with the TSA.
I mean,
or with the ICE agency.
If you manage to align the entire Middle East against the one saber rattlers who are looking to have nuclear weapons in the Iranians that are acting nutty, and you think we weren't going to be able to figure out the lines at the airport? This is what your liberal media feeds to you. This is what the corporate media tries to tell you. It is not as difficult as you would believe when you have smart leadership leading.
Right, because I do believe it is difficult to do, but when you have smart leadership that is willing to say, this is the way it is, we're not fooling with you, we're not sending you pallets of cash, we're going to tell you this is the way it's going to operate. Having a strong America makes for a better world. Barack Obama and people like that hate that idea.
Smart leadership with a powerful country can dictate terms of peace around the world.
And we're seeing it in real time. Look, I hope it all works. I would love to wind down the Iran war. I would love to know that they're not ever going to be able to develop nuclear weapons or anything similar to it. I would love for Iran to be a more moderate country and not be the world's #1 sponsor of state terrorism or state sponsor of terrorism. I would love that. You just might get it. Let's say you get one of the two. I mean, that's better than we were 3 weeks ago. Things are very different now.
Well, there's always going to be the caveat. We got peace now, but if you fools act up again,
we'll smack you again.
You've already seen that your defenses don't work against us.
Yes, absolutely. When we come back, Neal Boortz, the Talkmaster, love his take on what's happening in Iran and what's happening in Neal's world. As always, a fun adventure. Next on the Morning Xtra, Tug and Los until 10.
Listen to the Morning Extra, The Kimmer Show, Neal Boortz, and all your favorite Extra 106.3 personalities whenever you want with the all-new Extra app. It's anytime show replays, all your favorite podcasts, and the latest political news from across Georgia. Download the Extra 106.3 app now for Apple or Android.
There's never been a better time to fall in love with Subaru. Now through March 31st, get award-winning vehicles and exceptional offers from a brand you trust during the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Gwinnett. Explore the full lineup of hybrid, electric, gas, and wilderness vehicles, including the 2026 Subaru Forester and the all-new 2026 Subaru Outback. Every Subaru is made with love and built to last, with dependability and value coming standard. Whether you're looking to match your adventurous spirit with the 2026 Subaru Outback or land on the reliability of the 2026 Subaru Forester, Subaru of Gwinnett has the perfect fit for your family. You'll love exploring in the 2026 Subaru Crosstrek. And the 2026 Subaru Legacy is what happens when we put the best of Subaru into a sedan. Plus, every Subaru model comes equipped with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. There's a lot to discover and a lot to love at Subaru of Gwinnett. Come in for a test drive on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth or start shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We are a family-owned, operated, independent local company. We have over 15 years of artificial grass design, installation, and sales experience. From premium artificial lawns and backyards, custom putting greens, sports fields, hardscape, drainage. We do both residential and commercial. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
You've worked hard to build your investments, but are they positioned the right way from a tax perspective? Because it's not just what you make, it's what you keep. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president of Nicholas Wealth Management. Many investors don't realize that their portfolios may be creating unnecessary tax exposure. Capital gains, required minimum distributions, inefficient account placement can quietly reduce your returns, especially as you approach retirement. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we help clients evaluate whether their investments are structured in a tax-efficient way, looking beyond performance to understand how taxes impact income today and your legacy tomorrow. Are your assets in the right accounts? Are there opportunities to reduce further tax liability? Is your strategy aligned with your long-term retirement goals? Call Nicholas Wealth Management today, 678-990-8500. Schedule a complimentary review. That's 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management, helping you keep more of what you've worked so hard to build.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm. This is for informational purposes only and is not specific investment advice.
Heads up, Atlanta. Spring is coming and your house needs some work. You've got those sticky doors, maybe some wood rot, that deck board that seems just fine, that screen you've been meaning to replace since last year. Give us a call at the Trusted Toolbox and get ahead of it. With our handyman for a day service, you make the list and we knock it out. Schedule your appointment today at thetrustedtoolbox.com or call 770-623-3097. That's 770-623-3097. One call, one handyman, One day, the trusted toolbox.
Hey, this is Los with David from Atlanta, who just purchased his new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent way to buy your next vehicle. David, tell us about your experience.
I had been looking for a vehicle for a couple months. The car buying process was a little challenging at first for me. I had some credit issues in the past, and I just happened to hear a familiar voice on the radio, and it happened to be the Honest Car Guy ad. I got in touch with Tom. Within 2, maybe 3 days, I had a vehicle being shipped here from Orlando, Florida. I have already recommended him to family members, several friends, and I'll purchase a car from Tom when I make my next purchase for sure.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
I'm Rick Jackson. My dad abandoned us. My mom was an alcoholic, so I left the projects. Shoe shining, ticket scalping, vacuum sales. I found purpose in work and built a $3 billion business. Like President Trump, I don't owe anybody anything. And like you, I'm sick of career politicians. I'm running for governor to lead America in criminal deportations, to cut income taxes in half, freeze our insane property taxes, reform the system so that anyone who can work will work, and not just sit around binge watching Netflix and eating Cheetos. I'll let law enforcement do their job. And if you're caught helping a child change their sex, you're going to jail. I'm Rick Jackson, and I'll get these done. Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Tuesday, March 24th, and here are your headlines. The Georgia State Senate has passed a bill banning cell phone use during the school day in high schools, extending an existing policy already in place for younger students. The measure would prohibit phones from the first bell to the last, including class transitions, and now heads to Governor Brian Kemp for final approval. Metro Atlanta's pollen count on Monday ranked the 16th highest on record, with levels considered extremely high. Pine, oak, mulberry, sweet gum, and sycamore are pumping out the most pollen, as the metro area saw its highest count since April of 2025. And finally, in North Georgia, a massive fire destroyed the historic Floyd County Courthouse in Rome, a building that dates back to the 1890s. The building was undergoing construction at the time of the blaze, and officials say everyone inside was evacuated safely, but the structure is considered a total loss as the cause remains under investigation. Today's weather is a bit cooler with a high of 67 and a low of 47. With your extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
I hope you were buckled up. I mean, it's like getting to the top of the hill at Six Flags over Georgia on the Scream Machine, because Neal Boortz, the Talkmaster, is here on Extra 106.3 in the Morning Xtra. Neal, what is up?
Don't like wooden roller coasters.
Are they too jerky, herky-jerky?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. I get it. I don't mind them, but I know what you mean.
The steel ones are so much more comfortable.
Yeah, no, that's right.
But I love roller coasters.
Yeah, dude, they're so much fun.
My wife her daughter, they will not get on one.
So you have to ride by yourself. I'm in that same boat.
I remember the Scream Machine. this is one time ages ago when I was actually a season ticket holder at Six Flags over Georgia. So, I told you about that episode when I got on an airplane in Memphis, Tennessee to come back to Atlanta one time.
But refresh my memory.
Well, I'd been closing a loan. I was all over the damn country closing loans.
Okay.
On hotels, motels. And so I got on, I sat down in my window seat, and this unbelievably gorgeous, stunning brunette got on the plane in this green, oh my goodness, hold me back. And danged if she just doesn't come sit down right next to me.
Lucky duck.
Oh, yeah. And as the airplane was taxiing out, she looked over at me and she said, sounded just about like this, "Hi, I've never been on an airplane before. Have you?"
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I know how to fly these things. Anyway, Six Flags, get on a roller coaster, front seat. And this babe, there's no other way to describe her, sits down next to me, front seat. And roller coaster, not a word is exchanged. Roller coaster goes up that first hill, Scream Machine, Six Flags. And at the very top, she rips open her her shirt, holds it open the whole ride. Those pink-nosed puppies flying in the wind. And then get to the bottom, closes it up, walks away.
Did she just want the picture going down the first hill?
I don't know. I don't know that anybody was taking a picture of her. Did they have pictures on that?
Well, remember, there, at least in the 90s, that's when those pictures where you could see yourself going down.
Quick shot.
Yeah, the quick shot. I figured that's what I was trying to get.
At Disney, they have people's, they take those pictures all the time. They have people watching the pictures as people come off, and they do not print the ones they've
opened the blouse
that show fun bags or anything like that. Yeah.
Now this actually plays into exactly what Neal is talking about, because in 1992 in San Antonio, Texas, there was Fiesta Texas. They had the Rattler, which was the world's largest wooden roller coaster. And then they decided this thing is hurting too many people. We're scrapping it. Now it's the Iron Rattler. But at the time, people would get off that thing
and just be shaking,
just all messed
shaking,
up.
not stirred.
Yeah.
Well, there was one ride at Disney in Epcot that did the same thing. It was that space ride that was actually a centrifuge, so you could feel like you're blasting off.
Love that yes, it's called Mission to Mars.
Oh, it was horrible.
I'll tell you, Neal.
It was horrible.
My wife and I were on it with my oldest daughter, and it simulates, for those of you who've never been on it, it simulates G-forces. And so whatever your body weight is, I think you're pulling like 4 Gs, so it's like 4 times the weight. The crazy part about it, my youngest daughter at the time, she's like 60 pounds. She was having the time of her life. She thought it was awesome.
I did too.
Because she didn't weigh that much, where the rest of us were like thinking about throwing up. It's the only ride I've ever been on at Disney that has throw-up bags.
Well, the rides at Disney, they're beautifully designed. When you exit the ride, you have to walk through the gift shop to get out of there.
Always.
Is it Spaceship Earth? Is that what it's called?
Mission to Mars.
Mission to Mars.
They had people in the Mission to Mars gift shop. All they did was clean up puke.
They didn't sell enough T-shirts, so they had to go.
People got off that ride and just promptly threw up all over the place.
They had a green one and an orange one, and the green one was generally pretty relaxed. It was a lot of fun. The orange one it's going to be intense. You're going to feel it.
God, I loved it.
Well, we were there for the opening. We were doing a remote show.
Oh wow!
For the opening, and there was no green one.
There was only orange.
Just the orange mission.
Maybe that's why they had to create the green one. Back it off a little bit.
They were just learning their lesson at that point.
Epcot. I'm reading about it now. Intense orange, gentle green.
Yeah. Oh boy. It's a great weight loss ride.
Yeah.
And then
exactly.
And y'all didn't mention Ham's beer.
No, what is this?
What is this?
Yes, do tell.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Ham's beer?
I'm looking
saying
at it
beer
right now.
brand.
Ham's beer.
From the land of sky blue waters?
Listen, I didn't know if it was a German town I should know about, if it was a form of an airplane or a ride at Disney. I'm learning
Paul,
here.
Minnesota is where it says it's from.
Yeah, it is. Sadly, from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota, what a basket case. Have you ever been to Frankenmuth?
I've not. I've never been to Minnesota at all. Los just came back last weekend.
No, that's not in Minnesota.
No, I was just
in Michigan, Frankenmuth.
I was just in Minneapolis last weekend, and it everything you've heard about it is right under the surface. We had a multitude of families that took Ubers, and there was not a word of English, and it was very dangerous conditions by which these people were driving.
Did you go to the Mall of Somalia while you were there?
It exactly is as you're describing it. The amount of attire that is distinctly not American, that is extremely prevalent. We were there we were grabbing lunch. We were there for about 2 hours, and everything you've heard about it is true.
I went to when you could see women's hair.
Oh,
yeah, telling you, it's a rarity. It feels like a rarity because you will have these women that come in groups, and they are all in traditional wear. They are not wearing anything that looks westernized or American.
Yeah, I flew my airplane I got bored one Saturday and just flew up there to go to the mall and then flew back home.
Wow.
And it was an experience. I thought it was a grand mall. I would no more go in that place today.
Yeah, I've no desire.
So anyway, by the way, speaking of Ham's beer, I have decided first of all, I never liked beer.
Me either. I've never been a fan either. Los and I joked about it, because I was a poor Navy fella, and we'd be in port somewhere, and the guys would be drinking beers, and I'd order some sort of mixed drink, cocktail, something, and mine was 4 times as high as theirs. So they got to drink a whole lot more than I did, Neal.
Yeah, it's a matter of fact now, and I didn't make the decision to do this.
Oh.
I just did it kind of subconsciously. I just don't drink any booze anymore.
Not even wine, nothing?
No. Oh, I hate wine. I think they ought to pump all of the wine right back into the horse.
I love wine.
No.
Okay. All right.
No,
well, what made you decide to hang it up?
I didn't decide. It just happened. All of a sudden I looked around and said, damn, I haven't had a drink in months. So why have a drink?
Kept the roll going?
Yeah, I just we got medical marijuana down here. What the hell do I need with booze?
Okay.
Well played, sir. Good point. All makes sense now.
Now we're getting to the crux of the matter.
Well, more than 5 milligrams of sativa, that's it.
Does it sit you down?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's it.
It pushes me back into lazy boy.
Yeah, at that point, everything is funny. Everything is funny. I watch Cops. It's funny.
But do you ever get the paranoia that goes along with that?
No.
No? Okay.
No, lower dosages, and if you're used to it, it's much more comfortable.
I need to give it maybe a try one time.
Yeah, let's see how well you do at Jeopardy.
Yeah, I'm just laughing.
He doesn't know.
No. I'm dumb.
Well, see, I watch Jeopardy every night.
I used to until that twerp Ken Jennings.
Oh, he's the worst. I called him
horrible.
I called him an ugly name last night. My wife's like, "Geez, why do you dislike him so much?" And I was like, "Because he's so pompous. I can't stand that guy."
No, he is. I mean, my dislike of him pales in comparison to the Queen.
She despises him even more. Reckon why?
She wouldn't on him if he was on fire.
Oh, that's tough.
Oh,
why does she hate him so bad? Just because he's so arrogant?
I don't know. I don't ask her.
He is repulsive to me, man. Like I get along with everybody. I mean, there's usually that one in about 10,000 people I'll run into, and it is like oil and water. We don't get along. They don't like me. I don't like them. It's all good. We just go separate ways. Me and Ken Jennings would be that way. I feel certain.
Well, I tried back when Alex Trebek was still with us. I tried to get them to do a special edition of Jeopardy. Talk show host Jeopardy, subtitled because they think they know it all.
There you go. And then they would have got in there and got their tail kicked.
I know it would have been a great series. Put all these talk show hosts up there like me who think that we're God's gift to radio, and we know it all, and just have them have it on Jeopardy. It would be great. One of the favorite things that happened to me, and this was dear sweet Belinda. She would take care of this. I'd be on the air pontificating about something with a caller. I'd be arguing, and the caller would say, "Well, it's not like you're a lawyer or anything."
Uh-oh.
Okay.
And Belinda would say, "Sir, excuse me, but actually he is."
You wouldn't even have to say it because she.
Belinda would take care of that for me.
That's right.
Every time. So anyway, I read these things. Nobody is really asking this question that I know of, the Iran war.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is 47 years old. Don't give me this left-wing nonsense that Trump started this war. He didn't.
No, they started it, a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
So, but what's your take on it now, though? Where are you? Where's your head at?
Here's what they don't... all of these conversations. Are we going to leave Iran in a position to control the Strait of Hormuz?
Mm-hmm.
And if we do, then... the war, it's another North-South Korea thing. The war hasn't been ended. It has just been stalled.
Mm-hmm.
Are we or are we not going to get the enriched uranium they already have? If we don't, then the war has not been ended. It has been stalled.
Can I just ask you a question about that? Are you going to be okay with sending like Delta Force in to take that? Because you're going to need to. If you're going to go in, you're going to have to put boots on the ground to go get that enriched uranium that we know is buried.
With me, it always goes back to that Winston Churchill quote. which basically is, there's a threat out there to your very life. You need to get rid of that threat now, while the cost of doing so would be minor or minimal, instead of waiting a couple of years to get rid of that threat when the cost of doing so would be massive.
Right.
But one way or another, you've got to get rid of that threat.
No, well, I'm with you, and I understand. How do you think the American people take that? Because they're going to be, you already have the resistance on the right, I guess you could call it, and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and people like that.
I'm concerned with boots on the ground.
Yeah, exactly, and Los too. But
Well, you have to be concerned.
Right, no, of course, because it's going to be a dangerous mission. But do you think the American people are going to be okay with putting special ops in there to go do it if it's not like, full on marine invasion?
The Venezuelan operation ends up being the blueprint, I believe, that the American people are more than comfortable with. I don't think they want to see occupational forces around the world any longer. But if you're telling me you're going in and this is an op and you're getting out of there as quickly as possible, I think the American people have a stomach for that, given what's on the line here.
Well, they have to really understand what's on the line. American people are fat, dumb, and lazy. They do not recognize threats. Iran, a couple of years ago, Iran launches a missile from a container ship.
Oh, yeah, the Chinese are specialists of that.
Yeah, we're supposed to fear every container ship on the high seas. They launch a missile that was fully capable of being launched way out in international waters, fly over the United States, detonate in the sky over the eastern seaboard, and shut down every piece of electronic equipment from your blender to every car and truck on the highway, every airplane in the skies, shut them down instantly with an electromagnetic pulse. And the American people, really? Duh.
I tell you what I think about this, because I think the American people recognize threats. I don't think they have the stomach to take on the threats, especially if it means more than, just like Los is saying, just like the Venezuelan thing where it's in and out. I don't think the American people are okay with that. I wish they were, because it's going to take more. I do believe if you want to do it 100% right, it's going to take more.
Well, I wouldn't want to see us occupy the place. I just want to see us completely destroy their ability to pose a threat to mankind.
You're down to about 10% now. All of it is pushed down. The IRGC is running everything, and they pushed all that ability, the command and control, down to the commanders on the ground. That's why you're seeing like guerrilla warfare with the last 10% of drones and that ICBM that they shot over at Diego Garcia. All that's being done at the lowest level of commanders on the field. It's not like they have a government to make that call.
Command structure to make anything happen.
So my point is that last 10% is going to be tough.
Well, can you get to whoever you need to get to? And hopefully that's who Donald Trump was alluding to when he met with the press yesterday. Yeah. Who do you get to make sure that as part of this discussion, hey, that uranium's ours now? And if you don't want to hand it on over, we'll just continue this bombing.
I don't know that there's any command and control structure left in Iran that can make that decision.
Right. See, that's where things get a little bit hairy, because all that is done at the commander level. They knew most likely that they were going to take out the entire government, right? We did that in Iraq, too.
I was kind of surprised, actually.
Were you? Okay.
When this whole thing started, I thought, they're going to leave the weird beards alone. They didn't leave the weird beards alone.
So it's the first people to go.
That was the first thing on that Saturday morning, 3 weeks ago?
Well, I know, and that's I just kind of did a fist bump, said, yes, it's like I'd sunk a 30-foot putt.
Let's go. Yeah, I want to see us get it done and get the heck out, and I think that's where most Americans are. But I'm not sure the stomach for getting all the things that need to be done. And that's the thing. Are you willing to sacrifice politically to do what's right for the world? And I hope the answer is yes, as bad as I hate to say it.
Well, the American people need to understand that it will be painful.
But we're not talking about being fat and happy.
It can be achieved.
Yeah.
Don't wait until your chance of getting this done is almost none.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We shall see how it all shakes out. Do you have a good final thought here? You have a good inclination about the potential?
All the people in Atlanta right now that are having to fly out of Hartsfield Airport, okay, and deal with 4 hours of waiting and what have you. Just let me just give you with 2 words, okay? Jon Ossoff.
Yes, sir.
He is your senator, and he is voting against. He is voting against returning TSA to the checkpoints.
Yeah,
he is voting against funding or paying these people for allegedly keeping us safe on airliners. Jon Ossoff, he is just a butt boy to Chuck Schumer. Can I say that?
I believe so.
Well, yeah,
well,
I think it just happened. I think we're in the clear on that one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, and so while you're waiting in that line, just remember, Jon Ossoff, he voted against you having an easier time going through TSA at Hartsfield.
If you got to struggle on your vacation, remember who caused it.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, Neal. I hope they will. I just don't. I don't know. I hope they will. I think anybody with some sense in their head would know.
It's the only thing he's accomplished.
Yeah, he's done well with that.
It's making it difficult to fly commercial. He has done nothing else.
He's made it good to for people like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, but anyway, Jon Ossoff, remember that, and you should call his office. I gave all the numbers yesterday, and hoping you wrote them down. If they don't, you call me. Find me at Tug Coward on social media. I will share them with you there too.
Okay, answer the question that I sent you on email today. You can do that off the air.
Okay, let me pull up my email real quick. I don't see anything.
I'll forward it over to you.
Okay, so I didn't get it. Okay, me and Los will.
Why not?
I don't know.
Because the gatekeeper, Bryce,
that's right.
is the one who made the call on these things.
Right. Okay.
He's trying to shield us from the truth, Neal.
The church of the painful truth.
Okay, tea time.
God bless you, Neal. Thank you. This is the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3. Always a pleasure to talk to Neal Boortz, man. Love our conversations. The Democrats love the SAVE Act. Well, at least the idea of it. And for anyone around the world, and everyone around the world, just not you here in the United States, next and Xtra.
Xtra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, March 24th. The Atlanta Hawks remain hot. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies at State Farm Arena last night, 146-107 in blowout fashion. The Hawks are now tied for the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. They will have a chance to take sole possession of that spot over the final 10 games of the season. For Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves, well, they're going to be without starting pitcher Spencer Strider going into the season. He has landed on the injured list with a strained oblique. Strider was set to be the number 3 starter. The Braves will open up the season at home on Friday against the Kansas City Royals. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
When you're ready for a new truck, SUV, or car, there's one place Atlanta drivers keep coming back to: Jim Ellis Chevrolet.
That's because Jim Ellis Chevrolet makes buying a Chevy quick, easy, and hassle-free.
No pressure, no games, just a smooth, transparent experience from start to finish.
And the Chevy lineup is stacked, from the legendary Silverado to the versatile Equinox to the bold new Blazer and the fuel-saving Chevy EVs.
Plus, they've got a huge selection in stock right now, which means more choices, better availability, and competitive pricing you can feel good about.
Here's the best part. You don't even have to start at the dealership. You can shop online, value your trade, schedule a test drive, even complete your paperwork from home. It's called the Jim Ellis Expressway, and it lets you buy the way you want, in-store, online, or a mix of both.
And when you do step inside, you're treated like a guest, not a transaction. That's the Jim Ellis difference. Shop online at JimEllisChevrolet.com or visit Jim Ellis Chevy on Peachtree Boulevard just inside the perimeter.
Jim Ellis Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
I think we all know that one person who is, who's out the moment their head hits the pillow. I hate those people. I'm really jealous of them, because here's the reality. If better sleep was part of your New Year's resolution, you're not alone. Most of us struggle to fall asleep, stay asleep, or wake up feeling rested. But I found Z Factor from Relief Factor, and it has helped me a ton. Z Factor is more than just melatonin. It uses 4 natural ingredients to calm your mind, so you ease into sleep faster, you stay asleep through the night, and you wake up refreshed without that groggy sleep aid hangover. George wrote in, he said, I use it every night with great results. Charlotte said, my body feels so much better. Thank you, Glenn. If better sleep is your goal for the new year, make Z Factor a part of that plan. Right now, you can save 46% on your first order, just $19.95 for a 30-day supply. Call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF, or visit relieffactor.com. Start the new year rested. Fall asleep quicker and stay asleep with Z Factor.
The Morning Extra, every weekday on your drive to work on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
If we go by the New York Post article, and this is where I don't get where the American left has a problem with this sort of stuff. Donald Trump, in conjunction with the Israelis, actually delivered you possibly a gay leader in Iran, and you have a problem with this? I mean, we're following in the footsteps of Barack Obama. I mean, actually a gay man of Islam running a country? What seems to be the problem here? I thought you'd be happy. Listen, I might not have done the clothes correctly in the washer when my wife's like, you're not supposed to wash that. It's going to shrink. I'm like, I thought you'd be happy. Yeah. Are you serious, CNN, MS Now? We gave you a possible gay leader of Iran, and here you are still complaining? And whoever was that lover, if the intelligence reports are correct,
I believe they are too.
Is that not the bravest dude in all of Iran, knowing how the game is played there?
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. We've talked about the SAVE Act till we're blue in the face. It's the most popular piece of legislation that I think I've ever seen in my entire life. As far as bipartisanship and the level of support that it gets across the board, doesn't matter. Race, sex, nationality, whatever. All of it. Everybody loves it. Everybody thinks it's a good idea, except the Democrats. Now, we all have our understanding of why, because the Democrats would love to allow illegals to vote in the election. It sways the election. They want them counted in the sentences. That way they have more ability to have a operational function in the government. And the reason I bring this up now is because you've heard, even on this show, we've given you all kinds of sound bites of Chuck Schumer and all of the Democrats saying, no, this is horrible. This is a disaster. This is terrible, having to show some sort of ID to vote. And then you learn about NDI. NDI. For 40 years, NDI has been helping, and is the National Democratic Institution, funded internationally by the Democrat Party and your tax dollars, and $181 million a year. And NDI has told every developing country on the earth that voter ID is essential for election integrity. They've even recommended, NDI has even recommended biometric systems. Yes, which goes obviously way beyond what the SAVE Act does, just showing your ID to say, yes, I'm a citizen of the United States. So they're rejecting their own advice here in America. It goes exactly against everything that they say to every other country in the world. That's how crazy this is. They know it's popular. They know it works, which is exactly why they don't want it here.
Biometrics is such an art, such a technology of the future, and yet, because of what it does in terms of security, the Democrats want nothing to do with it, to the point where even an ID, they're like, no, can't possibly have that. Could you imagine if you were scanning your retina
or a thumbprint
in order to verify who you are? That's like the bridge way too far. If they're already telling you no on ID, I mean, think about it. You have more biometrics protection on your phone.
Dude, right.
On your computer.
I literally use my thumbprint or my index fingerprint to get in my laptop. And you probably do too, listening right now. As soon as you get to work, as soon as you get to office, whatever, you log on, bam. That way you don't have to remember every password and all that sort of stuff, because it's unique to you. Nobody, Los can't come over here and open my computer. Now, if I use my fingerprint and open it, slide it over to him, good. But he can't get on my computer. That's by design.
Most phones have facial recognition software coupled with passcodes to make sure that they're secured so that other people cannot use them unless you have decided they can.
Data Republican says same party, same people, opposite positions.
Yep.
On the SAVE Act. Everything that they preach around the world, they do not want you having the benefit of.
But these are the same people that made sure that you couldn't enter a restaurant without a little white card that said that you'd gotten their government injection.
Right.
Same people.
One thing.
Same people.
Yeah. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just go find @DataRepublican because she's amazing. It's a great follow. @DataRepublican is the Twitter handle, and she in parentheses next to her screen name Data Republican, it is small r, and I think that's where we are too. We're not big proponents of the Republican Party because they suck. They're terrible. They're awful. They couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. Are the Democrats worse? Yes, but are the Republicans completely useless? Yes, that's correct, too.
I have enjoyed in the last 24 hours, and we've now seen this for the better part of a week, but Donald Trump really doubled down on it yesterday when he talked about Department of Homeland Security, and he talked about what we're going to be seeing in the future. And he talked about tying all of it to the SAVE Act. How he is the dog with the bone. He's not letting this go, and he's not letting the Republicans off. And he's making it a point.
As he shouldn't.
If you want to go home for Easter, you'll go get this thing done. If you don't, you're going to be here.
You should be here. In Morocco, NDI praised the switch to requiring one photo ID at the polls, calling it a positive development. Guess what? Bangladesh, same thing. Why wouldn't they want it for the United States? So odd. So confusing. So odd that they operate that way abroad and not here in the United States. Can't imagine why. Trump's number one job for the future of America next on Extra 1063.
Time for the Boortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 1063.
Well, maybe it's time for a short attention span commentary, because today I find myself with a very short attention span. First, the Democrats and their fight against voter ID. God forbid a voter should ever have to prove who they are before they cast a vote. In California, a conservative newspaper called the California Post recently told us all that in all the California lawsuits against voter ID, not one single activist, a word I'm learning to hate, not one ever presented a witness or a plaintiff who could claim that they were denied the privilege of voting because they could not identify themselves. Next, to get my attention, Representative Maxine Dexter, Democrat, 3rd Congressional District, Washington State. She is upset with RFK because he promotes whole milk. She claims that's tied to white supremacy, and it's dog whistling. She also says that promoting whole milk ignores the fact that black communities may have less access to whole milk and may not be able to afford it. Well, buy a damn cow. A new Harvard study now claiming that Islamophobia may actually be caused by Muslims trying to murder people. Well, that makes sense. And before I go make my first cup of coffee, first of many, let's remember that in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, March 11th, 2002, 15 girls died when their school caught on fire. They died because the Saudi religious police blocked their exit from the burning school because they did not meet the dress code. They weren't wearing head coverings. Ponder that. Neal Boortz, Extra 1063.
Shop in the new 2026 Toyota Tacoma. Well, make sure your move is the one at Marietta Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event now through March 31st. At Marietta Toyota, every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's unlimited time and unlimited mileage for as long as you own your Toyota. And if you currently own a Tacoma, Tundra, 4Runner, or Sequoia, you may qualify for $1,000 in loyalty cash towards that new Tacoma, no trade-in required. We've got Tacomas in stock and more arriving. You can choose right now to set up and drive it home. Special APR is available, 4.99% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers.
Remember, visit us on Kyle Parkway South, just north of True Stadium, Marietta Toyota. Since 1975, we've been here and we'll be here for you.
4.99% APR for 72 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers will qualify. $1,000 loyalty cash available to eligible current owners on selecting Tacoma. No trade-in required. Offer ends 3/31/26. See dealer for details.
The legend Neal Boortz is only on Extra 106.3. With daily commentary you'll hear throughout the day. And he's on live with the Morning Extra every Tuesday morning at 7:30. Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3. And catch all of Neal's commentary on the Extra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Can they talk their way out of the conflict? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
President Trump, time and time again, has tried to give the Iranians an off-ramp, even before this war began. And he's trying to do so again, understanding that there are still thousands of U.S. forces on the way.
Fox's Trey Yingst reports from Tel Aviv, where there is new Iranian missile damage, that a U.S.-Iran meeting may be set up this week in Pakistan as the fighting continues.
Israeli air defense systems were working throughout the night to intercept this incoming fire. They were able to take down some of the ballistic missiles, but others had those cluster munitions on top. We could see the debris and bomblets raining down over the skies of Tel Aviv. Now, the Israelis say they have just launched a new wave of strikes against Iran just in the last hour, trying to destroy what is left of the military structure of the Iranian regime.
Now to the Senate.
The ayes are 54, the nays are 45. The nomination of Mark Wayne Mullen of Oklahoma to be Secretary of Homeland Security is confirmed.
And Mullen will be sworn in today, but his department remains mostly unfunded for more than a month, leading to longer and longer airport security lines as more unpaid TSA agents skip work. And Fox's Mike Emanuel reports from the White House there is a funding compromise being discussed as Democrats keep demanding immigration enforcement reforms.
Among the ideas proposed by the White House, expansion of the use of body cameras, new limits on enforcement operations in sensitive places such as hospitals and schools, additional Homeland Security oversight in the form of mandatory Inspector General audits. Officers will visibly wear ID and say their names if asked, and adherence to laws against the deportation or detention of U.S. citizens.
Police in Washington, D.C. are looking for two suspects in the ambush shooting of a park police officer last night.
The officer was undercover in a Tesla investigating an earlier incident when two men opened fire. The officer drove himself away from the scene and was treated at the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries.
That's Fox's Carly Shimkus. America's listening to Fox News.
Why does Progressive love protecting truckers? Because truckers unite the world. Truckers unite candles and yoga instructors. Truckers unite fake plants with people who shouldn't own living plants. Truckers unite French press coffee makers with the most pretentious person you know. But truckers can't do any of this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive now offers truckers even more protection on cargo with its enhanced Cargo Plus coverage. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. Not available in California.
Following the attacks on 9/11/01, FDNY firefighter Daniel Foley assisted in the rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. Daniel spent months and months searching for victims. Now, Daniel's death was the direct result of 9/11-related cancer. He leaves behind his wife, Carrie, and their children. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family's home. Join us. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
You may know Boortz is back, but not everyone else does. Tell anyone who loves America, Boortz is back on the radio in Atlanta, and his new home is Extra 106.3. Listen to him now on the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live or on demand. Morning, y'all. Glad that you're here. Appreciate you spending time with us. There's so much going on in the world. Obviously, there's plenty of discussion to be had. But I'm going to start real quick because I think it's important. Steve is on the phone at 404-741-1230, and he wants to define what American is. Because, look, people are having this debate. I see it on social media all the time. Steve, what is your take? What is an American to you?
Well, I am 76 years old, and I used to be a Republican. I
quit that about 6 months ago. I'm sick of that group of people, but I'm just really worried. Every time I hear on TV or politicians speak, even talk radio, they always talk about the American people. Who are the American people? I don't believe in what they believe in New York or Chicago or Los Angeles or anything like that. Barely believe in half the stuff in Georgia, but who are the American people? When we go into this next election, all the independents like me vote for Americans.
Yeah.
And we can't define it. Just like
how would you define it though? If
an American person is a brave American that stands up for the principles of the Constitution and of the states that they grew up in and the people who raised them. People that have values. So you can be of any religion you want to, but you have values and you have morals and you have character. But somewhere along the way, we have lost this. I always wondered when I went through the hippie stage in 1969 and the Woodstock thing, what happened to all those people? They all ended up in Washington.
And in power. Yeah.
Right.
That's who's running this dang country, is these stupid people my age that were the hippie people who would love children and the wild, crazy women who, women's livers and all that kind of stuff. And I love women. Believe me, I love them to death. But my God, what is happening to this country? We are just a bunch of cowards. And that is truly, to me, that's the definition of America right now, is a bunch of lost souls and cowards. I've said enough, but God bless you. I listen to you every day. I love you.
Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate
Gosh,
it. Steve,
man. He's preaching. He's out there preaching the gospel.
First off, I love that you said, I'm done with these Republicans.
Yeah, and I understand.
We have talked about the establishment on both ends of this, where Tug and I,
low down.
By no means, just because you have an R next to your name doesn't mean you're not going to be scrutinized pretty hard by us. Now, at the same time, and this is where I think Steve's talking about this, and this is how I would articulate it as well. Steve, during the years that he was building this country and the years that I was growing up in this country, we both knew Blue Dog Democrats that were proud of their country, proud of service to their country. Now, did they look at things socially different than let's say, the conservatives did? Yeah, fine. Did they look at spending in a similar vein as the conservatives? Yeah, maybe a little bit more on social. But we weren't this different from one another now, where the Blue Dog Democrats don't have.
Does that even exist?
Anywhere to be in the Democrat Party. They've largely been run out because these were people that did believe in the Bill of Rights, the Constitution. They believed in the social contract that America offers to you. What now seems to be there is if you want to have this place within the establishment, not just on the left, but I mean, it's more extreme on the left, but if you want a seat at the table within the establishment, you have to start with the idea that America isn't the way it was portrayed to you. And I'm sorry, I just don't buy into it, and I won't partake in that. I won't subscribe to it.
No, me either, man. I think America's the greatest nation on earth. There's a reason that people flock to get here and try to get. They come from everywhere, and I'm not of the belief that we can take in everybody. And I know you feel that way too. I bet Steve would say that. Look, man, if people want to come to America going through legal channels, then there's an opportunity to do it, but we can't just take the entirety of the world. We can't. We physically cannot do it. And yet, those same Democrats that you're talking about would tell you America's terrible, evil, awful. Yet people flock. What our joke is, they build a boat out of trash and try to float to the United States from Cuba.
I think we can look back since 1860. Since as we got into the start of, if you want to go even further back than that, if you want to talk about Bleeding Kansas and the history of what was going on during this country, the country was up for someone's going to run this thing. And by the time we reached the Civil War, I think we ended up having battle lines where there were those that were committed to the destruction of the United States versus those that were looking to keep the United States. And then once that was over with and that was determined that, okay, this view is going to keep this union together, then it turned into, well, how do you destroy it from within? And there were a lot of different theories that came out of the Southern Democrats on how to do that. And the only one that has now become very prevalent is you destroy America economically from within. And most notably, what was it? Was it Clower and Piven? Clower and Piven. The way to destroy America from within is by flooding the social services, by putting so many illegals here that America loses what has made it such a great place to live and such a great place to be. And that's how these professors looked at how to destroy America from within and turn it into a communist nation.
And that's where we're going to get to in just a second on the first thing to know this morning. But I wanted to just reflect on this for just a minute. Steve sounded like a patriot to me. Steve sounded like a guy that loves this country. Steve sounded like a guy that you would want to be neighbors with. That's the kind of guy Steve come off to as me, or to me. How bad have the Republicans screwed up to lose a guy like that? Dude, that is the most damning thing that you will hear this morning, that Steve, of all people, the Republicans run off Steve.
Well, and this is where I believe people, and why I believe the reason why we've grown the way we have, and the reason why people listen in the way they do, is because we have told you, when it comes to conservatives, yes, the Democrats, the far left hates us. So do the establishment Republicans. And so when you have someone like a John Thune or a John Cornyn, these people that are out there, and you think, well, they've got an R next to their name, they must share my values. No, they do not.
Don't fall for that.
They have zero interest.
He's figured that out too.
And Steve has figured it out. If you want to talk about a switch that has occurred, the reason why the Democrats for so long were against illegal immigration is they believed it drove down wages for the American worker. And it does. The reason why the Republicans were so on board with illegal immigration is it helps in terms of cheaper labor. And so it's not so much that it is switched because the economics are different. Both sides acknowledge the economics. It's switched because the Democrats have now hooked their trailer to this horse where their only power that they're going to be able to grab over the next generation is tied to illegals. And so then you see somebody like John Thune, who is a traditional, regular Republican, who grew up within the whole system of, yeah, we want the cheaper labor here. Why do you think he doesn't want to have a SAVE Act come to the floor? The establishment is your enemy.
They are.
And they've got R's next to their names just as much as the Democrats.
You have to be so careful.
Part of it.
You have to be so careful. And you have to really think about who you want to vote for. I don't know what the Republican Party is going to do, man. I don't believe in them. I don't think that they have America's best interest at heart. Do I think Donald Trump does? Yes. Do I think he's perfect? No. Do I think he's going to get some things wrong? Yes. Do I think he's trying? Yes.
But this is also the ignorance that goes on the left, because there is, outside of John Fetterman, there is a level of groupthink.
Oh my gosh.
When I've talked about Nancy Pelosi, how many times have I brought up that woman herded cats? She managed to take
it real well.
All of their factions and said, this is how you're going to do it, or you're not going to be here. The Republican Party is not Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is not the Republican Party. He enjoys when CNN tells you he's got 98% approval on his actions within MAGA, or whatever you want to consider it. His base has not gone anywhere.
That's right.
At all. What you have is a view of Republicans that, why can't we get you to act more like this guy? How can you not have a bigger spine? Like, really?
Because it takes a spine to do what he did in Venezuela, a spine to do what he's doing in Iran. It takes a spine to face everything that came at the guy. And I'm not even an apologist. I'm not even necessarily. I didn't vote for Trump when he ran in the primary the first time. So, but do I see a guy that tries and does have a spine? Yes. I want to see somebody have some kind of spine like that. I do believe Marco Rubio probably, J.D. Vance probably, in a different way, but I want to see that, and I just don't in the Republican Party.
This is where people like Steve, he now gets it, and it's discouraging. But you do find power in realizing that these people that are in power, they are the lesser of all of us.
Yeah.
As Steve was talking about hey, you got all these people that came out of the hippie movement.
Yeah.
That's where Pelosi and the rest of them came out of. And they gutted this country for themselves. If there's something that you can basically point out and say, what did that baby boomer generation do? It gutted the country for themselves. They are the lesser of all of us. But what's different, that global war on terrorism gave us 20 years worth of men and women. You see how differently they act, how they're looking to run this country. The people that are in their late 30s into their early 50s, like the Anna Poliana-Lunas of the world. These are veterans that know what they're doing, and they don't look at it the same way the baby boomers did. So if there is a hope, the hope is in the younger generation of leaders that have a much more of a backbone, of a spine than what the baby boomer generation is handing over.
And it's interesting that Steve called, because I'm going to get to the first thing to know this morning, because I believe Donald Trump has one specific job that he's got to get done.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high, man, we got the story, no time for a lie. Put a boot in your ass, courtesy
I believe, and this is right along the same lines as Steve, I think. Defeating communism is the most important job of Donald Trump. If you want to secure the world, and most importantly America, it starts with defeating communism. And he's off to a good start with Venezuela. Cuba's going to take care of itself. I do believe it's closely behind. And we're seeing a nice shift away from it in the hemisphere, Los. But I think all of these are so interconnected. This conversation is so interconnected because defeating communism, that puts a arrow right through the heart of our biggest adversary, being China, the CCP, the Communist Party. I think that's where Donald Trump has to be victorious, here stateside and abroad.
And I think this is what has been different that we've seen over the last 40 years. Like in the 80s, you've joked around about it. You have family members that would refer to things as communist.
No matter what it is. If your ice cream was melting, that's commie ice cream.
Because we got to the point where we looked at it in that recent history between Vietnam, between what we'd seen with the Berlin Wall, between how we've seen the Russians conduct themselves with the Soviet Union. We look, communism's evil. Because it's always been evil.
And it always will be.
It's killed millions of people. As a political ideology, it's horrible what it's done to the world. But yet, about every 40 years, it gets so seductive that you have people that forget or people that acknowledge and say, well, I know it was bad before, but we'll do it better this time.
We're going to do it right.
And that is what Donald Trump is now having to push down. The 40-year run when communism always seems to come back, and you got to get rid of it.
Problem is, doing it right means killing people. It means securing power at the very top, and then everybody else gets the crumbs. That is the right way of communism. That's why we have to topple it. That's why we have to destroy it. I want you to hear from Ted Cruz, because he says he hates communism, and so do I. Los, you're an aggressive nationalist. I'm an aggressive anti-communist. I'm right along with Ted. Listen.
Senator, what do you know about communism that most Americans don't with your background?
Communism is the most evil, twisted, depraved ideology mankind has ever produced. It has resulted in more murder, more suffering, more torture, more poverty, more misery than any ideology. It is unequivocally evil. I hate communists, and I don't hide it. They are everywhere that darkness has touched. It has oppressed, and it is empowered. By the way, for the communists, look, Fidel Castro lived like a billionaire. Putin lives he's a billionaire. I mean, it's very good to be an uncontrollable despot. It just sucks for everybody else. And so I think defeating communism is incredibly important. And communism is the antithesis of human liberty, of free enterprise, of individual freedom.
He summarizes everything that we've said, and you even did a story time on communists and how wealthy they are, socialists, how wealthy they are, as they try to act like, the guy next door, just an everyday working kind of fella, and they're all loaded. They're all coming from incredibly wealthy backgrounds.
I want to bring this up. Hopefully it gives you a little visual reference. Have you ever seen the multiple Spider-Man meme?
Where everybody's pointing at one another.
Everybody's pointing at one another, right? Okay. Communism, and most notably as well, Nazism, Back in the 40s, they were pointing at each other. It's like, you're the evil. No, you're the evil. And it was still about the party above all the wealth, everything concentrated to the top of the party, and it was scraps for the rest of you. They just looked at it a little differently how they were going to get there. Yet, both far-left ideologies. This is just a replay of all of this stuff. And when we talk about the useful idiot, when it comes to communism, it's because you need to have this massive push for people to be like, oh, it's all going to be better when we're in communism. And what you've come to find out, it's only better. And what was it? Remember when we had Occupy Wall Street and the whole thing was like, go after the 1%. You're artificially creating a 1% with communism. And guess what they do? They look at you and they're like, no, you don't get to come along.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the power.
Yeah.
If you have a problem, I'm going to shoot you.
That's right.
That's how communisms work. That's how socialism works. That's how Nazism worked.
And that was what Ted Cruz was saying, exactly
it
that.
always goes back to death.
Yes, it does. And
I get power.
Always will.
If I was a communist, I get power. I appoint Tug as my minister. I might appoint Bryce. So here's our power structure. And everybody that helped us, when they complain, we kill them. And that's how it works.
And then what happens when you get the whiff? Maybe I said something funny or I acted funny.
I have to kill you.
I got to go. Because your paranoia kicks in that I might be trying to topple you.
And that's the other problem. And it always happens with communism. It's the only good part about communism is communists kill other communists because they don't consider them communist enough. It's like, here's this other faction. You're not hardline enough. We have to kill you.
That's why I say the most important job of Donald Trump is killing communism. And that's where the root is. That's the root of it all.
About every 40 years, you got to rip it out.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. When we come back, let's go by the numbers. Los has talked about people voting with their feet. I believe that it's a bit of a double-edged sword, but it's definitely happening in the United States. Next on Extra.
Say it with me. Howard Brothers.
Howard Brothers.
Howard Brothers.
Howard Brothers.
Looking for the right tools, equipment, and expert advice for your next project? Head over to Howard Brothers. They're the best one-stop shop for outdoor projects with locations all across North Georgia. You know them. They've been in your community for years. Howard Brothers is your go-to for outdoor power, for service on your equipment, for hardware, and for much, much more. Me, I go there for the grills. Every single one of my grills in the last 15 years bought from Howard Brothers. Stop by today or visit howardbrothers.com. The grass is always greener and the projects are always easier when you take care of it with Howard Brothers.
Support the advertisers and partners that share your values. Give our extra advertisers the first shot to earn your business. They will deliver for you every time and support the extra community like no one else. Connect with all of our partners online at extra1063.com.
There's never been a better time to fall in love with Subaru. Now through March 31st, get award-winning vehicles and exceptional offers from a brand you trust during the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Gwinnett. Explore the full lineup of hybrid, electric, gas, and wilderness vehicles, including the 2026 Subaru Forester and the all-new 2026 Subaru Outback. Every Subaru is made with love and built to last, with dependability and value coming standard. Whether you're looking to match your adventurous spirit with the 2026 Subaru Outback or land on the reliability of the 2026 Subaru Forester, Subaru of Gwinnett has the perfect fit for your family. You'll love exploring in the 2026 Subaru Crosstrek. And the 2026 Subaru Legacy is what happens when we put the best of Subaru into a sedan. Plus, every Subaru model comes equipped with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. There's a lot to discover and a lot to love at Subaru of Gwinnett. Come in for a test drive on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth or start shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Ready to sell your home fast and for top dollar? Trust Design to Sell. Staging and interior design experts recognized as one of the top 10 staging companies in the nation. From stylish redesigns to full-service staging, Design to Sell creates spaces buyers fall in love with. Faster sales, better offers. That's the power of great design. Call 678-505-1433 or visit homedesign2sell.com and ask for the fan special.
Georgia Tech football season tickets are now on sale. Secure your seat in Bobby Dodd Stadium at Hyundai Field to watch head coach Brent Key and the Yellow Jackets take the field in key matchups versus Colorado, Tennessee, and ACC foes. Has a man wide open over the middle, catches the 15, and cruising in for the touchdown. 52 yards, and they made it look easy. Visit RamblinRack.com/tickets to get your tickets today. Sting 'em.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
For years, I've talked about Relief Factor. You've heard stories about the people who finally found real relief after trying the 3-week quick start. I'm one of those stories. My pain had become so bad that I was starting to believe that my best days were behind me. This was like 10 years ago. Relief was not in the picture until I tried Relief Factor. They are always striving to help people get out and stay out of pain. And remarkably, Relief Factor has made their already trusted formula even better. They've added premium black pepper extract because apparently that helps your body absorb the high-quality key ingredients more efficiently. So in simple terms, it helps your body get even more benefit from what you're already taking. And that matters. If you're going to take something daily, you want your body actually using as much of it as possible. So if you've been listening to me talk about Relief Factor for a while, this is your moment. Or if you're already taking it, you're now going to get the enhanced formula designed to work even smarter. Start with a 3-week quick start. It's $19.95 at ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. How will it feel to be out of pain? ReliefFactor.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Tuesday, March 24th, and here are your headlines. The Georgia State Senate has passed a bill banning cell phone use during the school day in high schools, extending an existing policy already in place for younger students. The measure would prohibit phones from the first bell to the last, including class transitions, and now heads to Governor Brian Kemp for final approval. Metro Atlanta's pollen count on Monday ranked the 16th highest on record, with levels considered extremely high. Pine, oak, mulberry, sweet gum, and sycamore are pumping out the most pollen, as the metro area saw its highest count since April of 2025. And finally, in North Georgia, a massive fire destroyed the historic Floyd County Courthouse in Rome, a building that dates back to the 1890s. The building was undergoing construction at the time of the blaze, and officials say everyone inside was evacuated safely, but the structure is considered a total loss as the cause remains under investigation. Today's weather is a bit cooler with a high of 67 and a low of 47. With your extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Y'all, it broke my heart to see that Floyd County Courthouse up in flames, because I've been by that thing 1,000 times in my life. You know, it's those old buildings that you love. Just it. When I saw the pictures of that and the video of that, man, I got sick to my stomach. There's just nothing worse because that building's, you know, how old did you say it was, Bryce? 150 years old or something?
It said 1890s.
1890, so yeah.
Wow, that's history.
Well, and that's the thing in the United States. That's one thing that we don't do well is keep buildings around. Like, we always knock them down. Like, we're never going to have, you know, really, really old structures because it's just not. It's just not our tendency. And then that was one of them, and now it's gone.
You get it in certain areas of the South. You get it a lot more in the Northeast, but it is a rarity. It's like you'll find buildings from like colonial era that when you're in Philadelphia or you're in Boston, you're in that area. And they're really cool to look at. But like our Southern charm is, hey, we got stuff from like, we're not supposed to say the antebellum era.
Yeah, right.
But we have stuff like that looks actually really cool.
Yeah.
And it burns down.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It is heartbreaking. 1892, Bryce said that building was built. 1892. And it was a pretty building. So just thinking about those folks up there, because that's heartbreaking to see that happen in your community. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. Let's go buy the numbers.
But I'll be all right as long as there's light from a math dude. Most people don't like math, they run from the sun.
And I normally do too. Los is the numbers guy, but when I saw this one, I wanted to bring it up to Los's attention and talk to you about it too, because Los has talked about it a few times during By the Numbers, people voting with their feet. I don't know if you saw this or not. Between 2019 and 2023, over 3.2 million Americans moved from blue states to red states. Even I can understand that math. 3.2 million people. I mean, what was it that you had? I don't know. It's a couple weeks ago. First time in history that California has lost, as a state, has lost actual citizens.
Every year since 2020. They have continued to lose in population, and that had not occurred in the history of California since it became a state.
Goodness. And because of that, and those 3.2 million overall moving from red to blue, from blue to red, listen to this number. They brought $250 billion worth of income with them. So all of a sudden, these southern states, the ones that for many, many years were made fun of, called backwards. You know, I remember the first time I ever went to New York when I was dating my wife, and they would give me a hard time about being dumb. You know, you sound dumb. You know, they would just be like,
"Why are you so dumb?
Why are you so dumb?" And all of a sudden, me and my people, we don't look all that dumb. We actually look like we're leading the charge. People are flocking to southern states, specifically Midwest too, but southern states are gaining population like crazy. Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. Oh my God, I probably, if I had to guess, Florida is the one leading the charge. I bet they're getting more than anybody else. That's the reason Kathy Hochul had to say out loud, hey, why don't y'all come back? We sure need to fund all of these social programs that we promised, but we don't have the money to. Can we use yours?
Our state's running out of cash. Margaret Thatcher wasn't wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Eventually, you do run out of other people's money.
Other people's money starts to dry up, and you get a little concerned.
This is the double-edged sword, though. And I heard this while we were over in Augusta. We were watching Jacob play, and there's a family that had moved down south from up north. And this is the double-edged sword of it, and this is the thing that freaks me out, this thing that scares me, this thing that I don't like. And they were talking about, you know, back, I think it was Maryland where the family's from. You know, back in Maryland, we used to have this, that, and the other thing. You know, I wish we had that here. And they were talking about some of the services that they used to get, right? Some of the things that were available through government. And I was like, that's the reason you moved here. You're not paying for all that. If you wanted it, just stay up there. You're not making any sense. And that's the double-edged sword, because when it comes down here and folks come here, they're like, well, but I really like whatever XY, fill in the blank, whatever service that the government provided up there that you don't get here. That's because we ain't paying for it. That's why your taxes are cheaper. That's why everything's cheaper.
So we have a neighbor of ours we met last summer, and they talked about how they ended up in the same neighborhood as we did. We'd moved in a month and a half before. They'd been there. It's like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And she talked about how when they were in New Jersey, their property taxes weren't just double. She's like, they were 125% higher than what she's paying here. She said her family looked at her like, what do you mean, Georgia? Why are you going there? You're from here. And it wasn't until they came to visit her that now they were asking the question, so you're paying what for this? And you're not having to pay for all the rest of the stuff that's going on in the state? It's like, yeah, that's the whole idea. So yes, there are going to be some people that are they'll be upset about, well, what about the transit system?
Yeah.
I don't care. It doesn't apply to me.
Give a rip about it.
You know what I care about? Does fire and EMS and police show up? Are the roads fine?
Paved.
How are the schools?
That's exactly right, man. Those are the things. Those are the things that I don't mind paying taxes for, right? And I've been vocal, and I will remain vocal about how much I hate paying taxes, and I do. And I bet you do too.
I still won't send mine off yet.
Well, I signed ours yesterday. Physically got the, you get now it's all digital, and like you do the one, and you can just put the signature on all the spots.
Just a sick feeling of paying capital gains going.
No. But that's the thing. When it comes to good schools, paving the roads and that sort of thing, those are the things that good EMS, good fire service, whatever. We don't mind paying taxes for that. But when it is all these other I just did a quick Google search. What are the services you get in blue states that you don't red? Blue, Democrat-leaning, generally offer more robust social safety nets, expansive reproductive health care access, stricter environmental regulations, higher state-funded education health care investment compared to red states.
Sounds like a bunch of things that I make sure that my wife and I provide for our family.
We take care of it ourselves. So please, 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 before you move here, before you even think about it, make sure you understand what you're moving to and why you're moving to it.
This is the sort of stuff that you will not have available to you.
And I'm fine with it.
And I'm good with it. I'm celebrating that.
Do you know how, and I don't typically chime in on people's conversation. The person just happened to be sitting next to me. I mean, the person next to me. And they were talking to another family. And it wasn't any of my business. So obviously I'm not going to chime in. But it took a little bit for me to sit back. At one point I was like, I'm going to run and get me a water, maybe go to the bathroom. Just hoping to take a lap. That way they finish their conversation and I don't have to hear it anymore. That was what was happening over there. It was one of those moments where it just stands out to you and just eats you up. And then I see that so many people are moving to red states. I want you to understand why you're moving to the red state to begin with. That's the prevailing wisdom that I have, if you can call it wisdom.
If you feel like more people are moving to your state, it's because they are.
Yeah, right.
And they're moving typically for the same reasons that you appreciate it.
That's right. Until they get here and then they want the services that they had back home. Damn it, that makes me angry. So please stop doing that. If I could just stop doing that, and we'll all be happy.
Don't you have more stuff you can pay for?
Yeah, there's plenty, but we don't want to pay for it. That's the whole point.
I don't want to pay for it, but don't you have more free stuff available?
Dude, you sound like Aunt Peg.
No, go home.
Now you sound like Aunt Peg. Because I want to, occasionally, there's those times where I'm going to be like, Aunt Peg, Delta's ready when you are.
Thank you. I just thought about the same thing. I'm like, there are flights to Seattle, several a day. Right. You're more than welcome to head back to the Pacific Northwest.
Whatever you want to do. Anyway, so that's the frustration that I ran into this weekend. I hope you've not ran into it because nobody wants to be frustrated, and unfortunately, that it does happen. Trump not kidding around, Los. There's all kinds of things I feel like Donald Trump will say, maybe in jest, say to get reporters to go crazy, but there's some things that he's dead serious about.
At times, he will push a particular point. And this is, again, art of the deal. I don't know how often we have people that fall for this stuff, most notably on the left, but there are people on the right that'll fall for this stuff. So Donald Trump is going to make this point. It's about a 30-second soundbite. I want you to hear it. I want you to hear not just what he's telling you, but what he's negotiating, because those are two different things. Take a listen.
So I'm tying Homeland Security into voter identification with picture and proof of citizenship in order to vote. And those two items are the most important thing having to do with Homeland Security. So it should be part of the Homeland Security bill. And I'm requesting that the Republican senators do that immediately. You don't have to take a fast vote. Don't worry about Easter going home. In fact, make this one for Jesus, okay? Make this one for Jesus. That's what I tell them. That's would be a damn good thing.
All right, so what is the fear? The fear that the left is now enthralled in. They're so concerned about it. Right now, we have ICE agents that are intermingling at airports with TSA, and they're just walking around. And they're there to provide additional security and to help with the processing. And what we've now seen is at one point we had 4-hour waits. It got to 40 minutes yesterday in Atlanta. That's what it did. Well, Donald Trump just went ahead and threw out the SAVE Act with DHS. He's threatening you, the left, and the Republican establishment with, we'll have these people chilling at polling places. We'll have them walking around. In fact, can you imagine if you went to a polling place and there were like 2 ICE people sitting out in front?
I probably wouldn't even notice.
I wouldn't care because I'm not illegal. I'm totally good with it. But that's what he's threatening. Now, the left is going to be like, well, that's the move of a dictator. No, that is getting a deal done. Because by the time that everyone throttles this thing back, you're going to have DHS funded, and I believe you'll have a vote on the SAVE Act, and it's all because of the threat of what if I tie these things together? And now you got to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's what he's playing here. That's what he's now threatening. Yeah, for everyone who talks about Donald Trump, he's doing these authoritarian things. No, but he's willing to threaten you with them.
Yeah, right.
And I don't mind that one bit.
No, me either.
Because I know what happens.
Yeah.
I know how it plays out.
Play strong hand. It's what he does that with most. And the crazy thing is, that's not usually his go-to tactic. It's always, let's negotiate, because he's a businessman. So what he's always done, right? But when he knows the negotiation's going nowhere, let's break out the gloves.
What happened with Iran? Listen, this is what we're going to bomb. This is what we're bombing next. Boom. Right at the peace table. This has been the MO. It's always been to point out an extreme. Now, I'm not going to give away all the secrets, Bryce. But one of these days, you're going to be in this office, and somebody's going to negotiate a contract with you. And the first one you're going to get, you're going to go, oh, my God.
What?
And then by the time the next one comes along, you're going to be like, well, that's significantly better. Okay. I'm like, that's by design, okay?
Yeah.
That's how you negotiate with people. Deadlines make deals. Right now, he's artificially setting up a deadline of Eastern. He's like, Easter, here's what I want. If you don't do it, here's where things are going.
Yeah, this is the next step.
It's all negotiating.
Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. It only took a day to fix the airport chaos. You saw it happen yesterday, and I bet you'll see it again today. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3.
Xtra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, March 24th. The Atlanta Hawks remain hot. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies at State Farm Arena last night, 146-107 in blowout fashion. The Hawks are now tied for the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs and will have a chance to take sole possession of that spot over the final 10 games of the season. For Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves, well, they're going to be without starting pitcher Spencer Strider going into the season. He has landed on the injured list with a strained oblique. Strider was set to be the number 3 starter. The Braves will open up the season at home on Friday against the Kansas City Royals. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Baseball is back this weekend, and so are your Atlanta Braves. The opening homestand of the 2026 season starts as the Kansas City Royals roll into town on Friday. The weekend is packed with exciting giveaways, like the magnetic schedule powered by Georgia Power, rally towels presented by Racetrack, t-shirts, and a Ronald Acuna Jr. cap for the kiddos. You don't want to miss the atmosphere of opening weekend at Truist Park. Grab your tickets now at Braves.com/promos. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves country.
Retirement should feel exciting, not stressful. But if you're close to retirement or already there, have you ever stopped to ask, do I really understand the risks to my plan? Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president of Nicholas Wealth Management. Things like market swings, higher taxes, inflation, healthcare costs, even living longer than expected can slowly chip away at your savings if you're not prepared. And even solid plans can have blind spots. That's why we offer a retirement risk analysis. It looks at how your investments, income, and taxes could hold up in real-life situations, not just on paper. It helps answer the big questions. What happens if the market drops? And will your money last as long as you do? If you're within 10 years of retirement or already retired, give us a call, 678-990-8500, or visit nicholaswealth.com to schedule a complimentary retirement risk analysis. Nicholas Wealth Management, helping you retire with clarity, confidence, and control.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm. This is for informational purposes only and is not specific investment advice.
Celebrate National Peanut Month in March with the powerhouse of great nutrition, Georgia Peanuts. Packed with protein, essential nutrients, and good taste, Georgia Peanuts are now a better snack choice for affordability, sustainability, and nutrition. To learn more health benefits with recipes and fun facts, check out gapeanuts.com. The perfectly powerful peanut, and this message is brought to you by the family farmers of the Georgia Peanut Commission.
Sponsored by the Georgia Peanut Commission.
I'm Rick Jackson. My dad abandoned us. My mom was an alcoholic, so I left the projects. Shoe shining, ticket scalping, vacuum sales. I found purpose in work and built a $3 billion business. Like President Trump, I don't owe anybody anything. And like you, I'm sick of career politicians. I'm running for governor to lead America in criminal deportations, to cut income taxes in half, freeze our insane property taxes, reform the system so that anyone who can work will work, and not just sit around binge watching Netflix and eating Cheetos. I'll let law enforcement do their job. And if you're caught helping a child change their sex, you're going to jail. I'm Rick Jackson, and I'll get these done. Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
Attention Atlanta, it's the biggest truckload safe sale of the year at Safe Market and Liberty Safes of Atlanta. And it's happening for 3 days only. We're slashing prices by up to 40% on top quality American-made safes. Home safes, gun safes, commercial safes. With 3 showrooms, there's never been a better time to buy. But hurry, when the truck's empty, the deals are gone. Shop online or come into one of our 3 stores for even bigger savings. March 26th through March 28th only. Call 770-242-0055 or visit thesafemarket.com.
Securing America. The War Department recently announced that it is giving the nearly 8,000 service members who were forced out of the military for refusing the COVID vaccine more time to rejoin the service should they desire. The deadline has now been extended by a year to April 1st, 2027. War Secretary Pete Hegseth.
Our obligations to make things right are not yet complete.
Although thousands were discharged, only hundreds have returned to the military. Hegseth is hoping those numbers increase.
Maybe you were waiting to see whether we meant it or not. We do. We hope you'll take a look.
And he provided some further incentive for potential reconsideration.
The active service obligation for individuals returning to service under this guidance is now reduced from 4 years to 2 years.
Hegseth said that change will also be grandfathered in for service members who have already returned to duty. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
This is now from being in that airport. While we were in line, it wasn't like there was a lack of manpower. You have these lines because the Democrats want to ensure that illegals can take part in your political process.
The Morning Xtra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
Tug and Los on Extra, 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3. Across the social media platforms. Back our Blue at America 2. Pleased again to present the Make America Gala, benefiting the Joe Burleson Scholarship Fund that they are starting. And it benefits the police foundations of Holly Springs. Holly Creek is near where I grew up in Dalton. We used to go to Holly Creek as a kid. But Holly Springs and the Cherokee County PD. It's Saturday, May 16th at Rustics Manor in Holly Springs. One-of-a-kind event. It's going to be so much fun. Dinner, drinks, live music, silent auction, carriage rides, hot air balloon rides, and even the Rustics Preakness, a horse race around the property there at Rustics, and they'll be watching the Preakness on TV that night too. Proceeds establishing, as I mentioned, the Officer Joe Burleson Scholarship Fund. Tickets support and honors all of our fallen officers with a day of fun and camaraderie for a great cause. Get tickets now at backourblueandamerica2.com. Hoping to see you out there. It'll be a good time. It'll be a nice time. I want to read you something, Los, that Cousin Brittany sent me. She was talking about being at the airport. She says, the government already has a digital ID at the airport. Every time I fly, they scan my face for security. And I don't even get my ID out. She said, they just need to apply that same technology to voting. Seems like an easy breezy thing to do.
Wouldn't that be a crazy danger? And by the way, for the first time, I did see somebody behind me. No, I don't want my picture taken. I was like, what are you creeped out about?
Yeah, right.
I was like, I just give you my digital image. In fact, when we went to our volleyball tournament, you bought your ticket online. And normally you have to show your ID along with your ticket. Weird. In this case, Northern Lights, the club who was running it, took a digital picture of us at the door. So anytime you walk through, it would just scan.
Pop it up.
Your picture pops up. You're good. See you later.
Yeah. It's easy. She said, Cousin Brittany said she told the TSA agent that once, and they didn't find it all that funny. They didn't share the comedy of everything that's happening in America and how to make sure that only American citizens are voting.
By the way, I'm glad that Cousin Brittany's getting this involved with this stuff.
Dude, I'm telling you, I don't know that she's 4 Hour Club, but I bet she's at least 2 or 3.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Cousin Brittany.
Absolutely. And tell everybody else, too. Just share it up your way, and we would greatly appreciate it. But talking about trips to the airport, because yesterday having ice there seemed to really, really help.
CNN, who has been living off of, look at these lines at the Atlanta, Hartsfield, Jackson Airport, and broadcasting this all over the country. And then people have been showing up to their individual airports. And outside of, it's been like Houston, New Orleans, I know Atlanta, maybe they've been able to show one additional one. But this is for show, okay? As I was pointing out, and it's now in the promo, I saw manpower everywhere. I didn't know why you were talking about 4-hour wait lines or even the hour and a half that I was in. I was like, the week before, I was 10 minutes. I was like, what changed? New political strategy. That's what changed. Everyone can talk about, well, there's 40% of these TSA agents that aren't calling in. They're not showing up. Okay. I would wonder why your resources aren't being routed to the early morning hours when most of the people are there. So this is now CNN as they got into the middle of the day. And now remember, TSA has been there assisting. They're doing security. They're walking the grounds. And suddenly, for the strangest of all reasons, now the lines are moving quicker and the wait times are less. And here is CNN having to report from, if you've been in the atrium in the area of the South Terminal, that has had lines running through it. 4 giant lines. By the time CNN is reporting, there's no one in there.
Finally, we can take a deep breath here. The numbers have dropped off. The lines are getting shorter. I think the average wait time now is under 40 minutes. So if you have a flight to catch today, it's a good time to come to Hartsfield Jackson International. Talking about those ICE agents, you can see a few behind me right there. And then I'm going to walk you this direction, and you can see some more of them gathered over here. This is what they've been doing for the most part today, is doing the patrols around the airport, talking and gathering, not really helping the public in the sense of they're not taking tickets from anybody. They're not interacting with the public we've seen so far. They're not checking anyone's ID. At the TSA checkpoints, they're not doing that as well. So the big question is, what have they been doing mostly? Well, it's been providing perimeter security, as you can see over here.
Actually, it's been putting pressure on TSA to actually do their jobs.
Because if they didn't, ICE would go in and fill in.
Have you ever worked in an environment when the manager starts buzzing around and maybe you start picking up the pace a little bit? Or maybe you happen to be around that one sales guy who's on a really big month and maybe you should pick up the pace a little bit. Maybe you have somebody who makes a couple extra phone calls every day than you do, and maybe you should pick up the pace a little bit. Turns out that when it comes to our entry-level government workers, if you make them pick up the pace a little bit, now granted, they're not being paid. I get that. But this was always, and this has been political theater. It's been political theater, and that is all. Engineered by the Democrats and engineered by the TSA.
And now, who are you blaming? Remember, Neal Boortz said it. And you've got to remember, John Ossoff is allowing this to happen. His vote would matter. Warnock's vote here in the state of Georgia would matter and get us closer to getting this resolved.
Need 60 votes.
And we had a dear friend, coworker even, reach out to us and say, hey, some of my lib buddies are saying, man, the Republicans are in charge of everything, and I keep trying to tell them we need 60 votes. Los had to do it yesterday when Liberal John called. Dude, you have to have 60 votes to move this forward.
It's an appropriations bill.
And unfortunately, for the Republicans, they don't have 60. So Democrats are needed. Where are they? Why are they stalling this? Why are they putting pain in your back pocket? Why are they making things hard for you? It's a choice. Know that it's a choice. And Hakeem Jeffries admitted as much
and by
in
the
Axios.
Way, the Democrats aren't asking for any sort of spending cut. They're not looking for any sort of spending enhancement. They're not looking for anything of substance. What they want is the inconvenience factor to occur in the interest of making sure that not only does a SAVE Act vote never get to the floor, but also ensuring, and this probably being the bigger of the two, that you do not have a situation where ICE is allowed to operate in the way that they currently are. They want a policy change. That's what they're doing this for. It has nothing to do with actual appropriations within the bill. So it's really about who's going to break. And now, what's going to happen? TSA is going to have less people show up? Like, I think with this move, I think it's over by the end of the week.
I think so
because
too.
now that these lines are moving in this way, with the support from a government agency that's funded through 2029, Democrats can't do anything about it. Suckers, you now have. This has now been called. The Democrats are now going to be on the hook for, you're still not going to pay these people by Friday?
Seems odd.
Still?
Knowing that nothing changes, it's just a pain point for the American people. That's all it is.
Watch them fall apart by Friday.
Let's us hope. I think you're probably right, too. And I think they realize how bad it's starting to look. You're starting to see that, too, I think. The Democrats are panicking because they know.
Let me just tell you, because you can always tell by what they're doing. On MS Now, we've had it on now for nearly 4 hours. There hasn't been one story about airport lines.
Reckon why? But this adaptive skills for AI-driven workplace, boy, that's valuable.
Listen, whether you're watching Fox News or whether you're watching MS Now or CNN or the multitude of all of them, if they're talking about you, they're either scared of you or they're looking to enhance their own standing. When they're not talking about you, it's because they don't want you to know about it or you're not a factor.
It only took a day.
It took one day for them not to bring it up on MS Now. I'm curious. I'll go to CNN for the remainder of the show, but I'm willing to bet you're not going to see a ton on it.
Fox has showed it a couple times.
Because why? Because it's better. It's been fixed.
Yeah. Right now, CNN talking about fertilizer supplies in the war
critical to food production in Iran.
When we come back on Extra 106.3, the biggest threat the world faces. We'll answer that question for you next on Extra.
Time for the Boortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Well, maybe it's time for a short attention span commentary, because today I find myself with a very short attention span. First, the Democrats and their fight against voter ID. God forbid a voter should ever have to prove who they are before they cast a vote. In California, a conservative newspaper called the California Post recently told us all that in all the California lawsuits against voter ID, not one single activist, a word I'm learning to hate, not one ever presented a witness or a plaintiff who could claim that they were denied the privilege of voting because they could not identify themselves. Next, to get my attention, Representative Maxine Dexter, Democrat, 3rd Congressional District, Washington State. She is upset with RFK because he promotes whole milk. She claims that's tied to white supremacy, and it's dog whistling. She also says that promoting whole milk ignores the fact that black communities may have less access to whole milk and may not be able to afford it. Well, buy a damn cow. A new Harvard study now claiming that Islamophobia may actually be caused by Muslims trying to murder people. Well, that makes sense. And before I go make my first cup of coffee, first of many, let's remember that in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, March 11th, 2002, 15 girls died when their school caught on fire. They died because the Saudi religious police blocked their exit from the burning school because they did not meet the dress code. They weren't wearing head coverings. Ponder that. Neal Boortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey, it's Front Office Los with Tom, the honest car guy. Let's talk about the new way to buy a car in 2026. Tell me how you can save clients thousands of dollars in this process.
I got a customer here, Jeff Everhart. I met him today first time because I delivered his 25 model Honda Pilot, fully loaded with only 16,000 miles on it. Jeff, answer Los's question about that one.
It was actually shocking. I mean, you hear the advertisements, you want to believe it, and then when you go through with the sale, and there's no extras, there's no dock fees, there's no storage fees, no transportation fees. The price I was given is the price that I paid plus their honest fee. I did save thousands of dollars, and it was a very quick sale.
Well, we appreciate that.
And did it from my living room.
Did it from your living room.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice. Streaming across Georgia on the Extra 1063 app. This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 1063.
Iran will fight until complete victory. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what a spokesman for Iran's top military command just said the day after Iran dismissed as fake news and psychological warfare. President Trump's claim Iran wants to badly make a deal to end the conflict, one he says will be good for everybody.
As good as if we went all the way and just literally annihilated the place, which if we don't have to do that, that would be a good thing, not a bad thing.
As Iran keeps counterattacking. Those explosions over Israel as air defenses shoot down missiles, but some got through, including
a 220-pound warhead that slammed into the heart of Tel Aviv, the explosion rocking the street and causing a significant amount of damage.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv.
Both the Israelis and the Americans are still taking the fight to the Iranian regime, launching new airstrikes over the weekend and into this week 4 of Operation Epic Fury, a new wave of strikes against the capital of Tehran and surrounding areas.
An American has been freed by the Taliban.
Held captive in Afghanistan for more than 400 days. Dennis Coyle of Colorado was abducted from his apartment in Kabul in January 2025. He was in the country conducting academic research when he was accused of violating Afghanistan's laws.
Well, that's Fox's Carly Shimkus. The Trump administration statement just out says Coyle was wrongfully detained, committed no crime, and was used as leverage. Could be another frustrating day at airports, plagued by hours-long security lines as more unpaid TSA agents skip work. Immigration agents have been deployed to some airports to help. Fox's Madison Scarpino is in Atlanta and says lines there are not as long this morning.
You know, it's unclear if it's a little bit shorter this morning because of ICE's presence here, who have been managing lines with crowd control, or if it's just because, it's a slower day.
Today, Mark Wayne Mullen will be sworn in as the new Secretary of Homeland Security as talks continue in the Senate trying to fund the department. America's listening to Fox News.
Why does Progressive love protecting truckers? Because truckers unite the world. Truckers unite candles and yoga instructors. Truckers unite fake plants with people who shouldn't own living plants. Truckers unite French press coffee makers with the most pretentious person you know. But truckers can't do any of this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive now offers truckers even more protection on cargo with its enhanced Cargo Plus coverage. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. Not available in California.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors America's heroes and their families, heroes like Scott Abrams. Now, for more than 3 decades, Scott served his community and country while he was on his NYPD motorcycle escorting a funeral procession. Scott was hit by a bus, leaving him partially paralyzed. Tunnel to Towers was able to honor Scott with a mortgage-free smart home. Please join us supporting the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. If you can donate $11 a month, go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
No traffic, no big deal. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10. Morning, y'all. This is Extra 106.3. Buddy, we've made it to the 9 o'clock hour where things oftentimes go off the rails. And if I'm hearing some AC/DC, that oftentimes encourages things to get off the rails.
Middle of the hour, I have a post that I have to read to Tug, and we've got to get to the bottom of that. But also, so when you have a celebrity that passes, then a lot of times, in this case it was Amazon Prime, puts like all of their movies in a line and pushes them to you.
Right, because they know the interest level is there all of a sudden.
It's spiked. In the same way that when a musical artist passes,
radio station will be playing their music.
Catalog's ready to go, download it from Spotify or Amazon Music or anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it reminded me. So now I've had pushed to me the Chuck Norris movies.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when you and I were kids,
all right,
do you realize what Karate Kid did? Every single movie maker out there had to put together their own kids fighting movie.
Okay.
So, for instance, I was looking at 1992. What is this, Tug? That's Three Ninjas.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. There was that.
I vaguely remember that. 92, Three Ninjas.
How about 1992 Sidekicks? This is when the kid's training, but he imagines he's Chuck Norris, which, of course, Chuck Norris plays himself as Chuck Norris in the movie.
Right.
Everything in the early 90s was kids, karate, ninjas, fighting.
Yeah, not Michigan Action from 84 or the Delta Force.
No, Chuck Norris was giving us what he gave us to follow up with what Pat Morita and Ralph Macchio did.
That's right. Dude, and that's why I believe that the little TV show that they did, kind of the continuation of Karate Kid, the one where Daniel was the bad guy.
Yes, Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai, thank you. And I watched the first ever how many episodes it were, the first season of that. And it was good. It's fine. But that's why that was so big, because it was also going back to how many people loved Karate Kid. It was the most important. I remember loving that movie, and then Karate Kid 2 with Gloria Love on the soundtrack with Peter Cetera. Oh, so good.
And you get bullied, but you come back out of look.
Yeah.
He's imagining. This is for Sidekicks. I'm Chuck Norris. Whatever Chuck Norris does, I can do.
And then they even did something very similar. If you remember on like Letterman's show, they had Chuck Norris do this bit. I watched it last night on Instagram, and it was Chuck Norris with a kid, probably promoting Sidekicks or something like that, where they were going through this whole scene on the way that they would, it was all scripted out, you could tell, but it was Chuck Norris fighting karate style, a kid that's like 7 years old.
So in this case, this is Jonathan Brandis, who's no longer with us. So he has met an Asian man, an older one, who's helping him train in karate.
That sounds very familiar.
But they decided, well, let's bring in Chuck Norris as like it's his imaginary friend.
What do you think?
But it's still the same movie.
No, I know, man. That's so good. Chuck Norris demonstrating fight techniques with a little kid on Letterman from, probably 1980, somewhere around in there. It's amazing to think about how much Karate Kid influenced popular culture when you start thinking about it. And now you're just adding a new layer to it.
As I'm watching.
Yeah.
This is the tournament at the end for the movie Sidekicks.
I love it.
I just wanted to point this out that I've now, as I'm going back into my Chuck Norris catalog, start to realize some trends out there.
I'm thinking Sidekicks is probably not going to be great. You know what I mean? Something tells me that movie's not going to stand up. Some movies stand up, some don't. I'm thinking that one's going to be one that probably doesn't.
All right, so Sidekicks on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, no. So the critic score was a 26. The audience gave it a 49.
Ooh, Lord.
All right, so I've got to then...
So basically, if it's nostalgic, the people in the audience nostalgic, and so they rate it at least better than the critics, and it still ain't great.
Karate Kid, when it came to 1984, had an audience score of, let's see, critics 81, 83 for the audience. Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Yeah, for sure. Stands the test of time.
But Sidekicks was not.
I just because it's a ripoff, man. I mean, the ripoffs never work.
Barry Gabrinsky is a troubled and bullied asthmatic boy who lives with his widowed father.
As a guy with a kid with asthma, the fact that they listed
Remember
Shout
who?
out us, we made it.
Let's go.
Remember who Danielson was living with? Mom. Single mom.
Yep.
It's the same movie.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's it's just the knockoff. And poor Chuck Norris got dragged in it. They probably paid him a grip of money to do this, be a make-believe character.
Barry wants to learn martial arts, yet he's rejected by arrogant dojo master Kelly Stone, played by Joe Piscopo, which actually kind of looks like the bad guy character who runs the Cobra Kai gym.
Yeah, it does. You're right. Lord. Poor Chuck Norris.
He meets a sly uncle and the owner of the local Chinese restaurant, Frying Dragon. Frying Dragon. I didn't say that incorrectly.
No, you said it right. It's a frying dragon.
Mr. Lee finds creative ways of teaching Barry to defend himself from bullies. Not like wax on and wax off. Not paint the fence.
No. We're going to teach you.
Sand the floor.
It's probably flip one side, flip the other. Stir them around.
It's the same movie.
Yeah, it's the exact same movie. And Chuck Norris got roped into it. How could that be? I can't believe that they roped him into it. They must, like I said, they must have paid him so much.
He has to go to the local karate tournament to win. And Chuck Norris is attending the tournament as a guest. And at Lee's urging, Chan convinces Norris to join the team.
Of course.
Okay. All right. That's your sidekicks.
Lone Wolf McQuade, one of Chuck Norris's best movies from 1983. Missing in Action 2. A Force of One from 1979. Firewalker. It said it was actually a comedy. I've not seen that one. The Cutter from 2005. I don't remember any of those. But sidekicks, because I was in high school in 92. I was probably a sophomore, somewhere around there.
Having to learn karate to defend yourself from bullies.
Well, yeah, all the time. I mean, look at me. When immediately you think karate. I mean, I wear headbands. And
I am karate.
I wear headbands all the time. Just because of that. Oh, Lord. God rest Chuck Norris' soul. And I'm sorry he had to do that. He must have been in some sort of financial dire straits.
Listen, just think some people reach out to you and you say, you know what you get pitched?
Everything.
Hey, we have a 90s version of Karate Kid.
Yeah.
This is going to hit big, and we've got a young man that we keep putting him in these movies, and they keep hitting. This is perfect for you.
And some agent was like counting the money before it even came in.
That's how I'd pitch it.
Yeah, no, of course. And apparently Chuck bought hook, line, and sinker. But nobody remembers sidekicks. Everybody remembers the Karate Kid. So I'm not sure if it played out the way that they thought it might. You know? How much? I wonder what it made. Because that'd be the bigger question.
Oh, no. According to a recent report citing Chuck Norris, he was paid $5,000 for his role in 1992 Sidekicks.
$5,000?
While Norris starred and supported the film, it was primarily financed by Houston businessman Jim Mattress McInvale. You know about him?
Guys, I feel like you've brought him up maybe before.
He's a serious sports bettor and stuff that he gets involved in. Estimated $8 million to $16 million production and marketing budget. So I'm guessing Chuck Norris was doing it as a favor. As a favor to a friend.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know what the movie made? If it cost $15 to make, how much did they earn back? Does it say?
Okay. It made money. Budget $8 to $10 million or so. Box office it made $17 million, which ain't great.
No.
But
barely broke even. Made $1.02 for everybody, I guess. And poor Chuck only got $5,000. Whoa. That must have been a scene.
Wow. Three Ninjas made $41 million, but it cost $26 million to make.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that doesn't sound like it went well.
As far as Karate Kid, that was an $8 million movie.
Yep.
Made $131 million.
Now we're talking. That's why people remember Karate Kid and not Three Ninjas or Sidekicks.
Great movie.
That's right. Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. The biggest threat to the United States of America. Going to tell you in the first thing to know.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high, man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
Science!
Put a boot in your ass, courtesy of the Morning Xtra.
Dude, anytime you can work in some She Blinded Me with Science, some Thomas Dolby, especially when we're talking about Karate Kid in the 80s. I mean, come on, that's that early 80s new wave alternative rock before it was even called alternative rock. Thomas Dolby, She Blinded Me with Science. The biggest threat to the entire world, I believe Marco Rubio is right about this, because it has teamed up with communism. It has teamed up with anything and anyone that despises the United States of America. And it is a real danger to America and the world. And I think it's only second to the CCP. I want you to hear from Marco Rubio and see if you agree.
Ultimately, all radical Islamic movements in the world identify the West writ large, but the United States in particular, as the greatest evil on the earth. And every chance they have, the notion that somehow radical Islam would be comfortable with simply controlling some province in Iraq or Syria is just not borne out by history. Radical Islam has shown that their desire is not simply to occupy one part of the world and be happy with their own little caliphate. They want to expand. It's revolutionary in its nature. It seeks to expand and control more territories and more people. And radical Islam has designs openly on the West, on the United States, on Europe. We've seen that progress there as well. And they are prepared to conduct acts of terrorism. In the case of Iran, nation-state actions, assassinations, murders, you name it, whatever it takes for them to gain their influence and ultimately their domination of different cultures and societies. That's a clear and imminent threat to the world and to the broader West, but especially to the United States, who they identify as the chief source of evil on the planet. Okay, the reason why they hate the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the leadership of the UAE, of Bahrain, is because they've allowed the United States to partner with them. That's why they hate them. They consider them infidels for it. They hate Israel. But they also hate America. And they hate anywhere in the world that we have influence. They seek to attack it, including here in the homeland. If you look at the domestic terrorists, at the attacks that have happened here domestically, the overwhelming majority of them have been inspired by radical Islamic viewpoints. And that includes the shooting in the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida. That includes the Saudi pilot in Pensacola, my home state, 2 attacks.
See, that's the thing he's talking about over and over again, and we keep seeing it bubble up. We keep seeing people talk about it, but most people, Los, are really afraid to talk about it because they're going to be labeled some sort of way. I even asked, and you were out last week going to volleyball, and I asked, where are the people who are Muslim that do not agree with this? And Slatoon reached out immediately, and he was like, look, I love America. He was like, those people that you hear saying we want to overthrow the American government and the American way of life, he was like, get them the hell, it sounded like Neal Boortz, get them the hell out of the United States.
There needs to be a very clear differential. There are a ton of Muslims who are Muslim. This is who they are. This is how they define themselves as. Then you have people that look at themselves as Islamists.
Yeah, that's right.
And that is a different mentality. And so I think you catch, there's always going to be, when you have Iran, which is basically it's an Islamic terrorist state.
That's right.
They are significantly different than the rest of the region. That's why the rest of the region rejects them having that sort of power.
And wants the United States to finish the job, pound every bit of the leadership of Iran out, get them out immediately, if not sooner.
Like, give the Saudis credit. You know, you ended up having 20 of 21 hijackers for 9/11 that were Saudis. The Saudis went to work on their own Islamic terrorist problem.
You had the cut from the guy from the UAE, the foreign minister UAE.
They did the same thing.
He's exactly right. And he said, that's why he said Europe will be the standard bearer for Islamic terrorists around the world, because they feel like they can. The United States is falling in the same category.
Yeah, largely you've had a good amount of the Middle East that if they are Islamic in nature, they were basically told, you're not welcome here. And they migrated into Europe.
Yeah. And now you're seeing it overflow in Europe and actually take over Europe, and they would love to do that here.
But I think that is the difference when somebody like Slatoon calls in, when you're trying to differentiate a mentality, because this isn't, because that's always the, this is a war on Islam, this is a war on Muslims. No, it's not. This is about a mentality. And no one takes that mentality and has created a state out of it now with actual function. It's not like Afghanistan. Afghanistan's a pile of rocks. All right, yeah, it was a terrorist training area, a bunch of people on jungle gyms, okay? It's not like Iran. Iran is actually part of, they're on the world stage. They are part of the world economy, and yet they are using their world economy to create a war on the West. They've done so for 50 years.
The reason I asked for the good Muslims, they tell me where you are, and that's the reason Slatoon called in, because the polling shows up in even Minnesota and Dearborn, Michigan, and places where there's a heavy population, they're more Islamist, and they believe, like, to the tune of 40%, do whatever it takes, like, to rid the world of the infidels, including supporting what happened on October 7th in Israel. They're just fine with it. 40%.
If infidels is part of your vocabulary, I would say that defines you as much as people that use the N-word. Now, you might say, well, that's completely different. No, it's a mentality. This is how you view people. In the same way that people use that sort of language, I go, oh, now I know what I need to know about you.
Mm-hmm.
Same concept.
And something along those lines, because you're seeing that red-green partnership, two groups that don't like each other, don't have the same values, but they both hate America equally, and anything that damages America, let's do it.
And the mistake that's always made by the left in this case, because they think they can co-op this sort of movement for their own use
and benefit. Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. The people that are into Islamic terror, the people that are into growing that particular view of when it comes to the rat religion, they look at the left as being a soft joke. It's like they're going to let us do whatever we want. And then we'll turn on them.
We can say it out loud and everything. And
they won't even believe us.
Nothing.
Like, what was the funny part? Where was that protest going on where the left was walking? I think it was in New York.
New York, I believe, yep.
Where they were walking with that group that was very pro-Hamas. They're like, we're on your side. And they're like, no, you're not. It's like, you're not with me.
It seems like it was like Queers for Palestine or something like that.
Something like that they flat out told. They're like, we're here to support you. He's like, nuh-uh.
No, we don't want you.
Yeah.
We got nothing for you.
I was like, in fact, those are the kind of people. This is that mistake that gets made when you put your own values on other people. Like, oh, no, listen, we're standing next to each other. They're going to consider me an equal. It's not how that works.
Yeah. Next on the Morning Xtra, yes, ICE at the airport. That's what I voted for. And it worked. This is Xtra 106.3.
The communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Xtra 106.3 FM and the Xtra app.
Shop in the new 2026 Toyota Camry? Psst, come here. Make your move right now during Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event now through March 31st. At Marietta Toyota, every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's unlimited time and unlimited mileage for as long as you own your Toyota. And you can buy with confidence. Marietta Toyota is a BBB A+ rated business with a 4.6-star Google rating and over 11,000 reviews. Right now, we've got strong Camry inventory, so you can choose the trim and color you actually want. Special APR is available as well on new 2026 Camrys, 4.99% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers. Visit us on Cop Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium, Marietta Toyota. Since 1975, we've been here and we'll be here for you.
4.99% APR for 72 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers will qualify. Offer ends 3/31/26. Lifetime powertrain warranty included with every new Toyota purchase. See dealer for details.
Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. The legacy of Joe Biden lives. His open border policy let millions of illegal criminals stream into our country. We continue to have customers visit the showroom and report that they have been victims of break-ins and lost their hard-earned and irreplaceable items. So don't be a victim. Drive by the Safe House showroom and see what real security looks like. Picture yourself placing your valuables in a Fort Knox safe. Now that's real protection for your priceless valuables. Drop by the showroom or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
Don't believe this nonsense you see on TV commercials about how uncomfortable a CPAP mask is. Take it from me. You wear one, especially the nasal pillow I use, for one night, and you will fight anybody that tries to take it away from you. But if they do take it away from you, you can get more at cpapsetcetera.com, cpapsetc.com, with a store in Alpharetta, same-day shipping. To your health, cpapsetc.com.
Welcome Georgia Tech's first-year men's head basketball coach Scott Cross for his inaugural year at the helm. Season tickets are now on sale. Angles in from the left, up and under with the reverse is good. Save your seat in the Thriller Dome to watch Scott Cross and the Yellow Jackets next season. A spin, digs the shoulder in, banks it and scores, and a foul. Two hands on by the freshman, and it's a one-point game. Guarantee your seats by going to RamlinWreck.com/tickets. Sting 'em.
From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now, in-store and online. Staples, that was easy.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. The number of House districts in play this fall is pretty small. 435 House districts, and 366 of those were considered safe districts in 2024. That means 69 truly competitive districts in the entire country. Fewer than 16% of House districts are in play. George Washington University professor Casey Burgett notes that as recently as 1996, 42% of all House districts were in play. These days, only 4% of House voters split their ticket when casting a ballot for president. So how do things shape up this year? Fair Vote predicts that only 38 districts are toss-ups. The Cook Political Report says there are only 18 seats which are toss-ups, and 86% of all districts are considered, quote, solid for one party or the other. In other words, who is going to Washington is predetermined months before any ballots are cast. That said, expect candidates and interest groups to spend close to $10 billion on House races this fall. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Tuesday, March 24th, and here are your headlines. The Georgia State Senate has passed a bill banning cell phone use during the school day in high schools, extending an existing policy already in place for younger students. The measure would prohibit phones from the first bell to the last, including class transitions, and now heads to Governor Brian Kemp for final approval. Metro Atlanta's pollen count on Monday ranked the 16th highest on record, with levels considered extremely high. Pine, oak, mulberry, sweet gum, and sycamore are pumping out the most pollen, as the metro area saw its highest count since April of 2025. And finally, in North Georgia, a massive fire destroyed the historic Floyd County Courthouse in Rome, a building that dates back to the 1890s. The building was undergoing construction at the time of the blaze, and officials say everyone inside was evacuated safely, but the structure is considered a total loss as the cause remains under investigation. Today's weather is a bit cooler with a high of 67 and a low of 47. With your extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
It's the Morning Extra right here on Extra 106.3. It's Los, it's Tug, taking you until 10 o'clock this morning. We'll then hand off everything over to Glenn Beck. That'll be followed up by Buck and Clay. And then, of course, the Kimmer Show coming up at 3 o'clock, driving you home from 3 until 6. A little bit of Jesse Kelly after that. So I saw the post. And I know there's some important political stuff we got to get into, but I thought this was a really important post. So this was a discussion that has now found its way into the lexicon. We are having to kind of debate what it means when you say, I'm involved in a relationship, a marriage, but things have changed quite a bit. And so I wanted to kind of lay it out for you like this. So there was somebody who posted yesterday named Trevor Sheets. And this is bounced all over X as of now. Trevor Sheets was pointing this out. It's long, but I'm going to try and kind of cut this thing down a little bit. Yes. Says, my wife was...
Okay.
This is how Trevor... This is not me.
This is Trevor talking.
Trevor Sheets.
Trevor Sheets.
My wife was formerly promiscuous.
Oh.
I was a virgin.
No.
Says she was then radically born again, committed to church, evangelized constantly, Puritan books in her bedroom, prayer journals, grief over past sexual sin.
Good for her.
He talked about how we got to know each other over a year, dated for 4 months, engaged in 2.5, and didn't sin sexually with one another. Our first kiss was with each other at the altar on our wedding day.
Oh, wow. They didn't even kiss.
Says we've been married for over 5 years now. She's been the most wonderful and godly wife, mother of 3 children, and the best homemaker you could imagine. He says she's more pure than most virgins, as biblical purity has less with past sins, though they certainly matter, and more to do with one's current posture of the heart and daily decisions to honor the Lord.
It's a great point of view.
Great point of view. He talks about how we're far too quick to forget the story of the woman labeled as a known sinner, likely a prostitute, and points out in Luke, said who was washing Jesus' feet with her tears while kissing them too. So he goes on to basically talk about how, here's this kind of as he's finishing, a woman or a man's past sexual sins matter, but what matters far more is when it comes to deciding who to marry, if the person is truly born again, if their repentance is real, if they truly have a heart for Christ, if they truly follow Jesus and obey his commands. Now, the responses here. Now, this is the money. This is the fun part. So he's gone on to point out some stuff. But let's say, for instance, the bold lib. First question. Was she an LA street hooker?
That's awful.
How about, do you know this man here?
Yeah, John Candy. Oh, Seth Weathers, our buddy Seth from...
He has John Candy from Uncle Buck doing the, nah, man, like cut that one off at the neck. Like that's not going to happen that way.
Stop. All of them are wrong.
Okay, I just got to...
It didn't change the fact that it's funny.
How about not the Bee?
Yeah, which is Babylon Bee, like the actual news site.
The actual Babylon Bee is responding to this man. I told you, it went everywhere. It got into the zeitgeist. It came, this whole discussion became part of the lexicon of relationships moving forward, and when and who you met and what about your wife. Here's the Babylon Bee. You're getting some hate in this in the comments, so let me come to your defense. But first, let me read your post. Be right back. Okay, I'm back, and never mind. You're on your own with this one.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my heavens.
The redhead libertarian. You couldn't have waterboarded this out of me.
It does make you wonder, like, what was the purpose of the post? Like, why is it that you feel necessary to share that?
How about Zeke Artem? Not everything needs to be put on social media. Just saying.
Yeah, see, I'm with Zeke. Like, what?
The art of purpose. Delete this. What will your children think of their mother when they read this?
Oh, my gosh. Don't bring in the kids.
Let's see. She's more pure than most virgins, using his quote.
Yeah.
The guy writes, no. A woman being a virgin and saving herself or her husband is biblical purity. Any attempt to downplay that is from Satan.
I think what he said, though, is so wise in the fact that, you know, where she is now in her walk is what she should be judged on. And I'm with him, man. I got to tell you.
And I thought that was a good part of the message.
That was a great part. You're right.
But
it doesn't change the fact that that's funny.
It is.
Anybody with a sense of humor can laugh at that.
There is then the, hey, I get it. You're homosexual.
Right.
Quote, this is from, let's see, Joshua Lysek, the ghostwriter. Christianity is for promiscuous women and virgin men. He writes, nice marketing there. Yeah. So they were using all of this poor guy's quote.
Yeah, they're just raising Cain on that poor fella. Oh, dude, not the Forrest Gump. No, not Forrest and Jenny.
I'm finally done whoring around, Trevor, and it's Forrest Gump and Jenny.
Yeah, Jenny.
Jenny. Yeah, so, but that was the fun part about this entire discussion, why I wanted to bring it up with you, because as a man who church on the regular,
every Sunday,
follower of Jesus Christ.
As much as I can. I fail more than I get it right.
But you recognize that people can decide to walk a different path, and that they can live their lives differently. But I think
it's different for everybody, and the timing of when you come to faith is different for everybody.
Sure. And as he was pointing out, she was now. If you're if you're a virgin, and you happen to date 2 or 3 people over, let's say, 5 years, and you're in a sexual relationship with them, okay, his version of being promiscuous is probably different than mine.
Yeah, right. And very different than hers too, I would imagine. It's funny.
She was promiscuous. What, she had 2 boyfriends in like 5 years before she met you?
Or was she LA street hooker? That was asked in the post. But
the
here's
view on his wedding night. It's all just meat.
Yuck. That's awful. No, but I will tell you, a friend of mine, he and his wife both saved themselves. This is a guy I served in the Navy with. And let me tell you, we gave him down the road. and I was just as guilty and just as wrong for doing it. It didn't matter. They both did, and I was happy for them. Their marriage ended in a horrible divorce.
Oh, no.
I'm telling you. Because my wife and I had this discussion because my son, after his game on Sunday, drove to Charleston 2 hours and 40 minutes to see his little girlfriend for their 2-year anniversary. And in my head, I'm like, keep your eyes straight forward. Keep your eyes straight forward. Don't think about all this other, because you don't, dude.
You don't know. It's fine.
Well, but I mean, if I'm being logical.
Let's be logical,
If I'm being real.
Okay.
Like, this is a kid that goes to church on Sunday, goes to Bible study, but hormones are real, and you will act on them. I did. I would be a liar if I said I didn't. But there's that
undefeated.
Yes, it is. That's the exact point. And I was like, I hope for all my sake that they're going to save themselves. And then in the next breath, I said, but my buddy so and so.
But my buddy so and so.
You know how that turned out.
Him and his wife did that,
and it was a disaster. And I mean, it was the worst. I've seen some bad divorces. We've all seen bad divorces.
Sure.
This may be the worst.
How about this response? It's only Monday, but we have a contender for the most cringe post of the week. Not too late to delete this. Actually, it probably is.
Do you think his wife gave him permission for that?
That's a great question, and I don't know the answer to that question. There's no way for me to know the answer, but I don't know why you take that to the web. Why do you?
How about Jason Whitlock? All right, Jason Whitlock, pretty well known. Praise Jesus, praying for you too.
And I agree with that sentiment. I do. I just don't know why you.
I just don't know why you would.
What's the benefit of putting that out there?
Is there a redeeming portion of saying that my wife was more sexually active than I was, but yet we found a common ground?
Yes, I think there is some. Yes, of course, but it just opens.
Referring to as promiscuous, just the start.
It just opens your wife up to ugly conversation. Like, why would you want to do that? Even I don't. But I'm not keen on sharing everything on social media. I've dialed way back just sharing pictures and things. I don't even do that anymore that much, unless it's just like something to do with work or I don't even really do it with personal stuff anymore.
Shady Pollster, shame on you, sir, for describing your wife that way on a public forum in front of strangers. To be honest, shame, sir. And it's your real name? Wow.
That's nothing.
I mean, if you posted kind of anonymously.
Yeah, then it wouldn't be. Yeah, because obviously his friend, if that's his real name, indeed, his friends are when his buddies read this, they're going like, ooh.
And that's a picture of him and his wife. Now, if she's public about this and she's bringing this up.
No one know that she is, though. But if she is, go with that.
But if she is, then this is more of their testimony to you.
Yeah, sure, which
I'm fine with.
Dude, as I said, where her heart is now is what she should be judged.
I mean, let's say somebody commits a horrible crime. And as part of their testimony, they tell you about how their life changed and what's changed and how they're a better person for it. Why would you consider that as cringe as a woman who might say, listen, I was going down a bad road, but I found this and I met the right man, and now my life is filled with children and love?
Because people are obsessed with sex.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes.
If you would have said I murdered somebody in cold blood.
It's the only reason Bryce is like, it's all about sex.
It doesn't get as much attention or play in that post as my wife was promiscuous.
Now, there's a term that has now become part of this stuff that was never when you and I were growing up. Body count.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that we've now entered into this place where young men have to think about, like, really, she brags about that? Or he brags about that?
Yeah, steer clear of anybody like that. You want to just...
But it's become so prevalent, like this society, the way that you are able to digitally meet somebody. And then as quickly as things can go, because what are hormones? Yeah. And it is undefeated.
Yes, absolutely. All those things are correct.
So sometimes you might meet somebody where their body count is significantly higher than what you thought, but they turn out to be an amazing
dude.
wife and mother.
Of course. Absolutely.
After she finds Jesus.
Yeah. And we all need to. And if you think yours, you like the things you've done in your life are not as bad as the woman that we're talking about, you're wrong. You are just as guilty. One is not greater than the other.
Robbie Starbuck. Dude. delete this.
Yeah, it's just weird. And Robbie's a Christian man. Like, he's very out front with his faith. That's my favorite meme of all time, or GIF of all time.
The WTF.
Yeah, with the mullet hair.
Like, I would never. Now, again, it's a different relationship. I would never bring up my wife in social media in a way that is personally demeaning to start with.
Or have someone draw a conclusion about her because of your post.
Right, like I will point out something that's just funny between us,
Yeah, sure.
or there was a funny scenario, or
But
my wife did this, or I messed up with this. Okay, but I'm not going to start off with like, so she battled heroin for 5 years. I was like, no.
I mean, she was hooking every night.
She was hooking
Yeah, but that's
in
what I'm
the
saying.
worst
Like,
neighborhoods.
Your point about, like, he's trying to paint this story of redemption, which I think is a good one. I'm just not sure that the forum that he chose to do is the right one, knowing how just vile social media is and can be.
Honey, I was at work today, and my coworkers asked me about your tweet.
Exactly. What did it say?
What exactly did it say?
Leftism has 218,000 followers post. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think announcing to the world that your wife is a whore is something to be proud of.
Which, again, the story is about redemption. That's the point that he's trying to make.
He's trying to make the point.
It's not going to be received that way on social media.
Did you call me? Did you out everything?
Did you say something about me?
Dude, our buddy Kelly, who listens in, you can find him at Army of Dogness. He quotes something that I do all the time, our favorite, Louis Grizzard. Damn, son, I don't believe I'd have told that. If you've never heard Damn, son, I don't believe I'd have told that, go find Louis Grizzard. It will make you laugh. It's the greatest. Louis Grizzard was the greatest of all time.
Somebody has a meme of Pinocchio, and it just says,
I don't like where this is headed.
It says, quote, more pure than most virgins. No.
Oh, my.
No.
Anyway, all right. Dude, bad choice. Bad for him. I understand where he was going, as you said.
Listen, the message is fine.
Yeah, the message is actually good. It's actually a good
great
message.
Like, hey, there is redemption.
Yep.
No matter what you consider your sin to be. But I also don't think you get to throw the blinders on some of this stuff either.
Or expecting people to have the same values as you do.
In fact, and this is my one thing to end it when it comes to this stuff. He's talking about her purity and all these sorts of things. I think it's a lot better if you say, I accept you for who you are and what you've done.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you are where you're at.
Yeah.
But he's almost turning blinders on to the fact that she was having sex with
multiples
before there ever was a him. You know, like almost like, if I didn't hear about her, it didn't happen. Like, no, it's not how that works.
Oh, Lord. Like Kelly. Damn, son, I don't believe I'd have told that. Louis Grizzard echoing in the background of the Morning Extra this morning.
I think we should have a conversation.
Yeah, that's right. That's what she's saying. I wonder if the marriage makes it past this post. Lord. Girlfriends.
I've got one for when we get to break.
Okay, all right. Girlfriends with man parts. If it's gone crazy, might as well end it even crazier. Next on the Morning Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, March 24th. The Atlanta Hawks remain hot. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies at State Farm Arena last night, 146-107 in blowout fashion. The Hawks are now tied for the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs and will have a chance to take sole possession of that spot over the final 10 games of the season. For Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves, well, they're going to be without starting pitcher Spencer Strider going into the season. He has landed on the injured list with a strained oblique. Strider was set to be the number 3 starter. The Braves will open up the season at home on Friday against the Kansas City Royals. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Bryce told us earlier that he sweats when he naps. It's because he's so manly, you know. The problem that Bryce has is they didn't have good air conditioning. I can tell because Los and I use central heating and air conditioning, Chuck and his team, and we don't sweat while we nap.
No, it's a very comfortable nap.
That's right.
I wake up in a pool of my own hair and sweat.
Which is so gross to think about. Do not be Bryce.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck. Don't be Bryce. Don't wake up in a pool of sweat on a nice nap day.
Call Central Heating and Air Conditioning. They can make sure that your house is so comfortable. Not sweaty, comfortable. Serving Metro Atlanta for over 70 years now. 70 years. Locally owned Atlanta company.
And if Bryce happens to show up on your doorstep, just know you're going to have to hose him off before you let him into your comfortable air conditioning.
Absolutely. And look, sometimes there's, based on that tweet that Los had a little bit ago, sometimes there's times that we need to crank up the AC a little bit. Maybe what was his name? Trevor Sheets? Is that it? Maybe Trevor, you need to crank up the AC, make sure that thing is going good. Make sure everything in his house stays quite comfortable. The same technician comes by your house year after year. You get quality service. When at Central, you're calling them here in Atlanta, not some national center. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
Happy napping.
It's official. President Trump has endorsed Burt Jones for governor.
Burt Jones has been an incredible leader. This man has my complete and total endorsement, and I really want to see him win.
Burt Jones is a trusted Trump conservative who's leading the fight to end Georgia's state income tax.
He's going to make a great, great governor. You will be very happy, Georgia. Burt Jones has my complete and total endorsement.
Paid for by Burt Jones for Georgia.
Ready to sell your home fast and for top dollar? Trust Design to Sell. Staging and interior design experts recognized as one of the top 10 staging companies in the nation. From stylish redesigns to full-service staging, Design to Sell creates spaces buyers fall in love with. Faster sales, better offers. That's the power of great design. Call 678-505-1433 or visit homedesign2sell.com and ask for the fan special.
I'm 8th generation watermelon farmer and NASCAR driver Ross Chastain. And one thing's for sure, racing with professional drivers requires me to use my melon. So if you've had a drink after a long day at work or celebrated a little too much, always surrender those keys to a sober designated driver. Because you should never mix drinking with any kind of driving, and that's using your melon.
Sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Hey, this is Los with Terry from Alpharetta, who just purchased a new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent, honest way to buy your next vehicle. Terry, tell us about your experience.
I have a son serving in the military. He's active duty with limited time to look for a car. My son was looking for a used Hyundai Veloster, and I had heard about the Honest Car Guy on the radio, decided that might be a route to go, and we made a phone call over the weekend. He screen shared the information with us. We looked over the vehicle, and he took the reins from there, and they were able to walk us through the process of buying the car. We're very clear and transparent, and next thing we knew, we had a car in the driveway.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog and our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
Tug and Los start your day the right way on the Morning Extra.
Get this. Cousin Brittany just texted me and said, I had to scan my ID to change my Yahoo password the other day. Oh, my Lord. That seems like that actually seems like a bit of an overreach.
I'd feel weird about that one, Brittany.
Yeah. Are you sure you're logged into the right website?
Brittany, were you looking into adult content?
That's right. What are you providing ID for?
Because there's certain states now that require legal ID. That's why I don't go to those.
That's exactly right. I'm not doing it anymore.
You taught me the error of my ways.
That's right. I'm out.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Which goes right along with the, that's the grossest thing I've ever seen. Los has, if you're on YouTube, you might be able to get a glance at that.
It's a video of a chicken.
Yes.
But it's chicken with droopy skin. It says, I had my fun, now I want to settle down.
We're still in here debating Trevor Sheets' his post. And it kind of went along with that.
His story of redemption.
It is.
And it has nothing to do with him.
I know. And it's just.
Has to do with his wife.
Yes, it does.
Doesn't that make it worse?
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
If you're going to tell your story, isn't it better if it's actually your story?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, at my home, my wife and I and our kids, like, this is our story.
Yep.
But I think that there's times where I'm not going to tell your story if there is one.
And if there is, like, that's
yours.
Personal. That's in the bounds of marriage.
Yeah, that's ours, but that's yours.
That's right. And the last thing you want to do is say something ugly about the woman that you love. I mean, the woman that you said has turned the corner, has done some miraculous things and changed.
Well, not right now.
What? Yeah.
Depends what she's done that day.
Yeah, right. But I just don't understand why. It's not the right forum. It's not. It's not the right forum. And that's. I think that's the overwhelming.
I'm not sure there is a right forum.
No, that's right. Right.
But again, if she had done that and posted that about herself,
right? That's one thing.
Because now,
but let me tell you,
Trevor comes off holier than thou.
Yes.
Like, this is how holy I am.
Yeah, that's right. And he's not. And I know he doesn't mean to. But if she had posted that, it would be the same. Dude, she would have gotten bludgeoned the exact same way.
I don't think so, only because it would have been hers.
I know, but people are mean and brutal.
Oh, no, they're mean.
But that's what I'm saying.
No, you're going to get people that are going to say that.
Yeah.
That are going to still say, like, well, you were this.
It wouldn't have gotten the same, as much of a stark reaction, I agree.
And at the same time, what we were talking about off the air, and I think it's worth bringing up. When I was a high school senior, college freshman, I'm 18 years old. Had you told me there was a girl who'd been with 8 guys, I'd been like, whore.
I don't want to be around her much.
All right. Now, 45 years old. She's been with 8 guys.
She could have been married 4 times.
Yeah. It's not, it doesn't hit the same way. But so his version of promiscuous at where he was, and especially with his biblical background and his values, she could have been with 2 guys, dated them for each 3 years.
Or one.
Who knows what he would have viewed as promiscuous.
That's exactly right. And everybody's interpretation is going to be something completely different.
Now, it might have been 28.
Yeah, well,
38.
Right.
Oh.
But maybe.
What exactly is your number version of promiscuous?
Right. Exactly. If you had to give me an exact number. But maybe there is something good that will come out of that post that we'll never see. That somebody, you know what I mean? That somebody will see this and go, I've been wrong. I've been judging, or I don't know. There's no way for me to know what good could come of it. But I do believe that good comes of things that you would never guess. That even in the lowest and the worst situations, there can be good that comes of it. And I think that's when the good Lord's at work. So,
well, I hope so. I hope something good comes from it.
Which I think, and that's what I'm saying. We'll never know. We'll never know. We won't be privy to that because we're just reading the posts that are just lambasting this dude. And would you have done it? No. Would I have done it? No. Bryce said he wouldn't have done it either. But I do think the good Lord uses things that you would never expect to catapult.
Why don't you ask
things
Bryce
that are good?
Why don't you ask Bryce the question you want to ask Bryce?
Have you ever had a girlfriend with a penis?
No.
Is that the one you're talking about?
No, the number was, Bryce, at your age, how many is too many?
I'd say
1.
That's fine if it's 1.
Yeah, no, I'd say
0.
I mean, with just this day and age and everything, I'd say probably 3 or 4.
Wow. Okay. Right.
Fair enough.
Because college is just a cesspool for it.
Well, in a larger amount, indicates that it's not like you're involved in a lot of meaningful relationships.
Yeah.
At least when you're young.
Yeah, right. And so I'd crank that thing down if I could.
Oh, absolutely. I would, if I could find one less, absolutely.
Dude, start at church. I think that's
start at church.
Does that mean you'll find one with less? No. And look, maybe the sweetheart you find will be like not happy with your number. You know what I mean? And has every right to be.
She might have a ween.
Oh, Lord. Well, there was a woman that was a teacher, a professor, assistant professor at Cal State San Bernardino. That's what it was. And she had something she wanted to get off her mind a little bit because she was at a school board meeting and she was just, tearing things apart. It was not good. Her name is Jamie O'Quinn. And she says it's absurd that she needs to tell people that girlfriends of hers have penises. Listen.
And the idea that I have to get up here and say that trans women are women and that's what I have to use my time to do is absurd. Shame on you. Shame on all of you. And shame on you for using lesbian politics as a front for your transphobia because this lesbian has had plenty of girlfriends with penises.
Wouldn't that just be boyfriends?
No, you had bought boyfriends. You had a lot of boyfriends who were pretending to be women.
How off? How far away?
And they were mostly sexual deviants that were just doing it for kicks.
How far off from sanity do you have to be? And this woman's well educated. She's an assistant professor of sociology, Cal State San Bernardino. She's a smart woman and sounds nuts.
One of these days, and it's not the most hilarious bit, but it is very telling. You need to listen to Dave Chappelle talk about the LGBTQ plus AI, whatever, when he has to talk about the car ride. And he talks about how all the groups see one another. And as they continue to go through all the groups, how they look at those that consider themselves to be transsexual, how they're the weirdos in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're gay or lesbian, she's sitting there like as a lesbian, I have friends that are like, they don't consider you part of the movement. And quite honestly, I don't think a lot of gay men or lesbian women consider trans part of the movement. I think they consider them to be mentally ill,
which
they're not allowed to say because then they'll get
kicked out of their own
from the ride.
Yeah,
but that's the way they actually view it,
dude. When I heard this woman, I was just like, I had a hard time wrapping my head around it, and I don't think most people do, just because it's so outlandish and it's so ridiculous. The absurd thing, she said it's absurd that she has to admit this. I think it's absurd.
I think it's absurd she said it in public.
She said it out loud. Exactly. We're talking about the guy that posted that she's saying this out loud is so ridiculous, man. Unreal. Thought we would end on a high note, or as high as we could. That'll do it for us. Glenn Beck is up next, then Clay and Buck and the local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Jesse Kelly after that, man. It's a whole lineup all throughout the day, conservative politics here on Extra 106.3 for Los and Bryce. Y'all come back now, you hear? He's going to be coming.
The Morning Extra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and the Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Extra 106.3.
Join Daniel Matalon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around.